D&D and Pathfinder supplement that brings Pokemon-style gameplay to your tabletop games is finally getting a massive update. Roll for Combat, the company that brought you Battlezoo, Eldamon, as well as countless other supplements for your tabletop role-playing games, has just announced Eldamon Legends, which is a fantastic Kickstarter that you can back now to bring all sorts of new Eldamon, elemental powers, and items to your worlds. If you're new here, Eldamon are elemental spirits that take on the form of creatures, which you and your party can make alliances and travel the world with. You can train them, evolve them into more powerful forms, and pit them in battles against other Eldamon. Or you yourself could become an elemental avatar and wield powers of darkness, or music, or fire. And the brand new Eldamon Legends Kickstarter brings you a bunch of new items that you and your party can equip, over 136 more Eldamon to populate your world with, and brand new legendary Eldamon to track down. Plus, the Kickstarter has all sorts of goodies available for its backers, including special dice, deluxe covers for the original Eldamon series, and more. So be sure to check out the Eldamon Legends Kickstarter today to begin harnessing the elements for yourself.
Hey, we are live. Look at this.
Hello, welcome to Roll for Combat Live with Stephen Glicker, the publisher of Roll for Combat, Mark Seifter, the director of game design of Roll for Combat, and Derik Melenda from Knights of Last Call.
Who's
And
still
also-
trying to figure out my lighting.
Your lighting is terrible.
I know.
It's the one time ever that Derek's lighting is going to be worse than mine. Let's be.
There
let's
we go.
look at it for
actually,
5
that is pretty
seconds.
bad. Oh my God, look at that. What
There
are
we
you
go.
doing? Derek coming to us live from the surface of the sun.
Yeah, that's
Now he's coming to us live from a moody center. Ooh, now he's coming to us live from an eclipse.
right.
There we go.
No, I'm trying to get that perfect Rembrandt lighting. That's what I'm trying to do.
Rembrandt.
It's what it's called. It's called Rembrandt lighting.
Oh well, we learn something new every day.
Yeah. So here, I'll make it really dramatic. So here's what you see. You see my dark side.
Oh yeah, no, right. One
Okay,
side.
there, you see.
Yep.
All right. So this is the dark side, and then you see how there's a triangle of light right here.
Yeah.
That is called Rembrandt lighting,
There you go.
named after the painter who painted a lot of his subjects.
It's
that
not
way.
named after the turtle. Are you sure?
I don't think Rembrandt was a turtle.
It could have been the fifth turtle, like the fifth beetle.
All right, I'll buy that.
There you go. You know what? They're always adding more Ninja Turtles. So
They're always adding them more. There can never be enough. There can never be enough Ninja Turtles.
Well, they're just finishing this is, I think, the last week of the Ninja Turtles Magic the Gathering set. And there was a bunch of characters in there. And I said, I didn't know any of these were Magic or Ninja Turtles, but apparently they were. So, yeah.
I'm one of those rare people. I never watched a cartoon, not even once. I've never seen the movies, but I did read all the original books when they came out back in the 80s. And those things were hardcore graphic. They're like X-rated, those things. And somehow turned into a kids TV show. Yeah.
As things are wont to do.
Yeah, well. I mean, back then they had a Rambo Saturday morning cartoon, for God's sakes.
They had a
That's
Conan the
true.
Barbarian cartoon show. Well, in like the early 90s. I remember that was pretty good.
I remember that Conan.
I didn't.
Conan. It was great because he had his big
The
sword.
adventurer.
But like the snake people, when he would like tap them on the head with his sword, and they would like turn into snakes and like snake spirits and fly away because they couldn't kill him.
Well, that was it's like the A-Team. Like the A-Team, they always had to show everyone get up afterwards. So they'd be doing all this stuff after, and they would have a million guns. They'd have guns going, and then you would show
They
everyone.
would just somehow not die.
No one dies, no one gets hurt, and everyone stands up to show that they're okay. Because it's a kid show.
Sure.
Right.
The 80s.
So we had some chats already about why are the D&D YouTubers quitting. Trekkie Rose, who is a D&D YouTuber, said currently hemorrhaging about $300 per month that I could be spending on art for my game instead. It's rough out there for creators. And Matthew Midaw said something that I was thinking of. Luke is cutting back to doing shorts and occasional live streams. Will is cutting back until the Kickstarter is done. And he said he's going to come back afterwards. And Professor is changing the channel content. So of the 3 people who were on our thumb, how many of them are just like completely quitting?
Well, we have a unique perspective because I talk to Professor DM probably daily. I actually did talk to Will after he quit. And Derik had a very long conversation with Luke about this very topic at GaryCon a couple weeks ago. So I figured
I sure did.
since all three of us literally spoke to the people who we're going to talk about today, I thought we had a unique perspective on this that I don't think anyone else will. So part of it is, so let's see, Luke, we found out was quote quitting, and Derik can talk about that because Derik talked to him about it extensively. I was like listening, but I wasn't really talking to him about it. I've spoken to Professor a lot about it, and he just changed how his channel content, and he's talked about this publicly, is that he was originally a crafting channel, and basically because of the OGL crisis and him and I talking, and then he subtly was changing some of his content to, let's just say, news. We'll call it a little bit more news oriented, and talking about his thoughts on general D&D topics. And those would always do 5-10 times more views. And to be honest, and we were just talking about this before this with Derik, it takes him way less time to do one of those videos than like his crafting videos. He can spend 50, 100 hours on these crafting videos between the setup and the shots. And he's just like, it's not worth my time. And he likes doing them, but no one watches them.
Yeah. So here. I'll break it down for you guys. Okay. I just did my taxes. Okay. For 2025. Okay. Night's the last call made $40,000. Okay. That's what it made.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Now, $40,000, 5,000 of that came from YouTube. Of the 5,000 that came from YouTube, 4,000 of that 5,000 came from super chats and super thanks and YouTube channel memberships, which means that only $1,000 out of the money that I made came from YouTube videos and views for all of 2025. And if you know my channel, you know I make a lot of videos. I make a lot of content. Now, I don't get a lot of views? True. But also with a longer video, technically you get more, you get more, whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? You get more ads that play over the course of a longer video than say a 7-minute video. So that is 1 out of 40. Okay. Now I'm not a math guy, but that sounds like 2.5%. So it's a very, very, very small amount.
And that's better than some channels get. Like Arcane Mark is almost entirely just from members. In fact, the number of people who use the free Amazon Prime subscription to our now defunct Twitch channel that we do not publish to is comparable. It's a little less than we get from YouTube, which we've actively been doing, but Twitch we haven't done for years. And just those people who did the Prime subscription to that are producing almost as much as all of YouTube combined.
Right. Yeah. All the rest of my money comes from my Patreon, 90+% of it, and direct tips through Stream Elements, which uses PayPal. And so, now granted, again, I'm not a huge content creator, yada, yada, yada. But the point is that and also to a certain extent, I feel like I don't have control over my views. When I was talking with Luke at GaryCon, there was kind of this fun back and forth. And I basically said, as a content creator, I am actually probably one of the least informed about how any of this algorithm stuff works ever. And Luke was kind of like, really? And because he was basically saying, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was basically saying my views drop way the hell off. And it's, when I look at my time that I have available between my role as a father, my role as a publisher, my role as this, the amount of time that I spend making videos and the cost that I spend making videos, because, he was a big enough, popular enough YouTuber, he had staff, he had editors, people like that. It's just not worth it for the basically the ROI is not there. And he said, once my views, drop down below 10,000 or whatever, it wasn't worth it. And I basically said like, yeah, I'm pretty hyped if I get 10,000 would be a breakthrough video for me. And he was like, oh, I don't mean to make you feel bad. Like that's a great way to get some income, a couple $100 at a time. And I said, oh no, don't worry about it. I said, I actually don't know. I don't care about my views at all. And he said, well, how do you get money? And I said, my Patreon. And he goes, oh, that's great. You're publishing? And I go, no, I'm not publishing. And he goes, oh, what do you, like a zine or something? And I go, no zine. And he goes, so what do you give them? And I said, nothing.
I give him my heart and my soul.
and he was like, what? And I go, nothing. And he goes, wait, I don't understand. He was like, it didn't compute to him. And I said they can watch all my content for free. I said, and if they like it, they can support me. And they do get access to my Discord, which is cool. We have a couple perks over there, but it's fundamentally because they believe in the mission. They believe in the channel, and they understand that what I'm talking about and what I'm doing is not financially valid. If it wasn't for their support, I would have streamed somewhere in the neighborhood of 750 hours last year, and I would have made $1,000. So, yeah, it's it's just not, it's not even remotely close.
Why, Derek, that was over $1 per hour.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, wow. $1 an hour.
And that only is counting the on-air hours.
Correct. Nothing else that I do.
And not any of the costs of the equipment that you needed or anything like that.
Oh, right. Zero equipment. In fact, we could get into this if we start talking about that other thing. But lifetime.
We will.
Lifetime. I started this channel the year of COVID. I started this channel in 2020 in the fall. And lifetime, I am still probably negative on this channel because of the investments that I made into the channel in terms of tech and gear and things and all this other stuff. I mean, maybe I've finally broken through into net positive over the course of the 5-6 years that I've done this. So yeah, it's not a money making scheme, and I guess it's my job to be a curmudgeon, I guess, which I'm. Yeah. I don't want to be I know Derek hates everything and Derek hates everyone, but here's what I'm going to say. These YouTube content creators got into the game not to get rich. They got into the game because they thought D&D was cool. We've seen a couple of influencers, okay? And I feel like I can maybe throw someone under the bus because they're out the game and they, shit the bed on a Kickstarter, so I guess they're cool. But I remember not trying to be shady about it. Nonat was my goal was to become an influencer. As a kid, as a teenager, growing up, I wanted to be an influencer. I loved video games. I wanted to be an influencer. Just like every other middle schooler out there today. Do you want to be a doctor? No. Do you want to be an engineer? No. Do you want to be an astronaut? No. Do you want to be, no, I want to be a content creator. I want to be an influencer. I want to be a TikTok star. So that was Nonat. And he said, okay, cool. And then he looked at the YouTube environment, and he was very tacitly sort of into RPGs, barely, really. And he saw there was this gap in this game called PF2, and he said, I can fill that gap, and I'm going to create Pathfinder 2. And he became the PF2 creator for a lot of us for a long time. And, he wanted to be a video game person, and he kept trying to, pivot to video games, and it didn't work. And eventually he said, I'm out. Now, my point is, most content creators, especially I think in the D&D space, did not get into it because they wanted to blow up and be successful and be a YouTuber. In fact, a lot of the YouTubers that we're talking about, Luke, Professor, whatever, these are, older gentlemen, they're not maybe necessarily part of that, I want to grow up on social media type of generation. They got into it because it was cool. It was fun to do. And it was, probably COVID and there was not a whole lot else to do. And guess what happened? Their channel blew the fuck up. And because their channel blew the fuck up, it opened other avenues to them that make them a lot more money. And when they look at the ROI on it now, they go, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Yeah. And I mean, that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah. That's why whenever you see people leave television and go to films, and it's the same exact thing. Cause you can make what you make on a TV show. I believe they make $6,000 an episode. The main cast members of Saturday Night Live, they make $6,000 an episode, which is garbage, but it allows them it gives them insane amounts of coverage and leverage, and everyone knows who they are. And then they could do other things with that. And then you get Heidi, Geisler, who's doing those commercials, those national commercials for, what is it, the My House or whatever it's called, their housing market thing. And she quit Saturday Night Live. I'm yeah, because she's making millions off those nationwide commercials. And doing commercials is easy. Or you see people who go to movies. Yeah, you can work on a movie for one week and make millions. So,
exactly. And that's what I'm actually trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here, because, in theory, if you're a young up and coming comic, that Saturday Night Live could be your ticket to the big leagues. I have spoken with all of these people. I know all these people. I wouldn't say like they're close personal friends, but I know none of them got into this because they wanted to blow up. You know what I mean? Like it was, they liked D&D. They liked RPGs as a hobby, and they had cool things that they wanted to share and tell to, I think there was sort of also sort of a pull from the market, right? You had this huge upswelling of people coming into the game who were all desperate for advice and information, and everyone was a newbie, and so not only have those content creators, built up these empires, so that the grassroots efforts basically aren't worth the efforts anymore, right? And then I guess the description would be like, imagine you're a politician and you're like, I'm not a career politician. I go door to door. I meet with people. I go to town hall meetings. I know the plight of my constituency. They have these personal interactions with me. They grow to love me, and because of that, they elevate me to the status of being essentially a career politician. But then, ironically, because I'm now a career politician, I don't have the time or the inclination to do the thing that actually put me in the position that I'm in. But I think every single one of these people started off as they weren't a full-time YouTuber, right? At some point now, Derik, you're a full-time YouTuber. Yeah, because my ass got laid off. Like, I became a full-time YouTuber by default. Like, it's just because I didn't have another job. If you look at my channel, nothing's changed. I still publish just as much as I used to. So I think for a lot of people, what full-time YouTuber meant was really just meant that they quit their job. Like, it's not like it didn't really change the way that they produced content or did anything. It just meant that they quit their other job. And so now their job has to bring in the bacon. Before, it was just a fun thing that they did on the side. And if it made a few bucks, great. And then one day somebody said, hey, if you did a Kickstarter, you could probably do like 1.8 million. And they went, really? Wow. And then, the publishing empire arm begins.
So, by the way, do you realize that your viewership is up 40% when Derik is on?
Yeah, well, Derik, you always bring me on the controversial clickbait videos.
No, that's not true. I bring you on every time because
that's not true. Steven does controversial clickbait videos even if you're not here.
That's right.
You just
Whether
only
you're here or
see
not.
the ones when you are here.
No,
but whenever I'm not on, I click and I look and I'll oh, look at that awesome what you had a stream the other day, and I was like, how come I'm never on for these awesome conversations?
That was a fantastic stream last week.
How come I'm never on for these awesome streams?
I invited you and you had to go get your eyes checked or something.
Yeah, I had an eye exam.
You don't need your eyes. Just like people don't need their thumbs to click on the like button.
But did
you see the one where neither of you two were here and where Evan and I quickly finished out Steven's clickbait topic within the first few minutes and then spent the rest of the episode discussing the finer points of game design for monsters within multiple game systems?
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah,
and then people in the comments were like, "This part of the end was so good. Why couldn't it have had that on the thumb?" And the answer is because nobody clicks on it when
because no one clicks on it if you say that's what it's about.
Can confirm that sounds like a Derik stream and nobody clicks on those.
Yeah,
so.
Can confirm. If you say we're going to be designing monsters for 2 hours, you'll get 2 views, maybe 3 if you're lucky.
Right,
this
exactly.
isn't a controversy. This actually is true. I mean, this literally, I was stunned because Will from D&D Shorts is just put out. So, okay, this is what happened. A couple weeks ago, now I knew Luke was leaving because and then he had one of his, it's the thumbnail of him and then it says, thanks, I'm leaving or bye or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, there's his. But then Will from D&D Shorts the other day had his saying he's leaving. And I was like, what? And sure enough, he put out a thing saying that his Kickstarter, which is already up to $3.5 million, which is probably reason why he's
but
quitting.
that's a really cool idea. I think you guys should look into doing something involving monster parts and crafting. I think it would do really well.
I think it would do really well. Maybe we should try to do something exactly like his.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely copy him because he's clearly an innovator in this space and no one has ever done that before, and that's why the market is rewarding him with a tremendous amount of millions of dollars.
I mean, he's doing a follow-up to...
Anyhow, thanks for joining us for Roll for Combat.
He's doing a follow-up to 2 extremely successful Kickstarters that have a built-in base And
Well,
I expected it to do well.
It
It sounds
totally
like he
doesn't.
didn't expect it to do
Content does
well
not
in his
matter.
video. But
Steven, it's not your fault. You're like me. You know, you're really into things that aren't popular in the zeitgeist. Things like Monster Crafting System or like Pokemon. Like, that's not a popular game. Nobody spends money on Pokemon. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, what are we?
I'm obviously wasting my life. Well, I was feeling pretty good. But you know what? Plans within plans. That's all I'm going to say.
Steven has his own way of doing things.
Plans within plans.
Steven knows that if he can't catch lightning in a bottle, he can just keep trying and trying. And I think he's going to succeed.
Might not win the battle, but I will win the war.
There you go.
But in Will's case, he even said in his video, he'll be back as soon as he finishes fulfilling the Kickstarter, but that he needs to get the Kickstarter stuff done because it is becoming more of an effort than he expected.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No,
I mean, that's a lot. He has to write like 1,000 pages. He's like, I'll do it this summer. I'm like,
he has a lot of authors, but even coordinating that many pages is very difficult.
Oh my God.
As you and I know,
you ain't finishing that in one summer, baby. I'm like,
I will say, you know, because you know what, it wouldn't be a Derik if it wasn't for some controversy. And again, no shade on Will. He's a deliciously wonderful human being. You know, he's done some great stuff for charity. Really has donated a lot of money. Luke is just a dream. He's wonderful. That is Pivot there. I will say, I think shorts are the devil. I think they're garbage. I think it's slop content. I think it's swill and dribble, and it should be saved for you know, I don't know, little middle schoolers dancing or whatever the fuck they do on TikTok. Like it has no place as part of a D&D program or an RPG program. It is utterly horrible. I do not support short content.
You
at
think
all.
shorts are the devil, Derik?
Yes.
What did the devil what did the devil ever do to you?
The shorts are.
What did the devil ever
shorts
do
are
to
the
you,
devil.
Derik?
Shorts are the devil.
I became religious just so that I could hate on the devil. No, it's just a horrific format, and I just think it ruins like everything. And the problem is that like Beowulf, it would be one thing if people like made shorts, I guess, just as previews of their content, but people don't do that. They just make shorts.
Are their content.
Yeah, shorts are their content.
And okay, well, let's let someone else talk there, because you've taken.
Hadgar gave a super chat that said, "By the way, Steven ain't kidding. He will do it."
He will do what?
I don't know. The super chat didn't say.
Oh, I don't know. Well, no, I spoke to Will. Will's going to come back. I mean, he's just taking time off. Look, he's actually being incredibly responsible because he's got a huge amount of content to design and write. And he's basically said, look, I need no distractions. I'm going to take time off and finish it and then come back. And I'm like,
no. Respect. Absolutely. I mean, you only have so much time in the day.
That a lot of people just push themselves to the limit and beyond, and then they wind up falling flat.
Yeah, I wonder who the hell that is.
Yeah, Kiki87. A lot of us at the Knights of Last Call Patreon have done the same. Yeah, there are some plugins that are really awesome that you can install on your Chrome extension or whatever that remove all shorts from your front page, because YouTube will try to serve you shorts endlessly. And
King wrote, the devil. There's something wrong with his medulla oblongata. I don't know. There's something wrong with your brain.
Medulla oblongata. It's a water boy reference.
I know.
Foosball is the devil.
I know. Anyhow, so he's coming back. Professor just changed his format, basically saying, hey guys, I like doing this stuff, but no one was watching it. And he had to decide, and he's still doing it. He's just doing it on his Patreon. And you know, but I tell you though, so I'm in a private chat, and Mark's in it too. I don't think Derek's in it, where other creators are always looking at their numbers and comparing, like, if this video did well and that video did well, and like seeing how changing the thumbnails will do things. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but I know a lot of creators there. That's where this is their main thing, because they're not doing other content. Like, this is very important to them, and they want to do as well as possible, which is, you know, great. Hell, I always want to do as well as possible, but I don't really do anything other than make a thumbnail in 10 minutes and throw it out, and we do the show, and that's it. I don't really go back to them afterwards. But, you know, some people who are doing content that they create, they spend 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 hours on. They want to make sure everyone watches and it does well and they get it. But that's the thing. It's like people in the end, those numbers go up is very addictive. And it's hard to not go after that. Numbers go up, especially when you put out with videos and all your videos are doing like 10, 20,000 views. And then you put out another video on a completely different topic and it does 100,000, 200,000 views. And then you go back to the original topic. You're like, uh-oh. You're like, uh-oh, now what do I do?
It's not. We got a clarification. Khadgar said, Stephen ain't kidding, that he will drop 1,000 pages if you provoke him.
Me? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Yeah, you'll easily publish 1,000 pages.
No problem.
And you will do it in a summer sometimes.
It's not just like a self-reinforced delusion, by the way. And I know this because, you know, Derik makes the kind of content that YouTube cries about, which is like, you'll make something and then you'll go into your YouTube studio and it'll be like, hey, your last video didn't perform as well as your other
your last
videos.
video sucked.
Maybe you should consider doing something completely different. Like it will
here's
literally
some
say,
reasons. Oh, here's some ideas. And then they'll give
Right,
you
ideas.
AI generated
Yeah,
ideas
I was gonna say, do you want some
definitely
AI?
do not want to do.
Yes.
Right, do you want some AI,
us to create
AI
a video
recommendation?
for you and just put your
Honestly,
face on it?
Yeah, YouTube is like, we think we could do your content better than you. So please, by all means. And so, you know, YouTube will literally beat you over the head with that. But you know, yeah, YouTube wants you to do shorts. YouTube wants you to spam ads. YouTube wants to do this, that, and the other things.
Yeah,
but like,
they make more money.
Okay, but again, I'm not a hater here. You know, again, I really want to.
I'm not a hater, but let me tell you what I hate.
I'm not a hater here, but let me tell you what I hate. The problem is, okay, and I'm actually going to do something.
Let me tell
here.
you everything that's wrong.
I know I'm going to do something here that may be controversial.
No,
Okay.
I
Which is
don't believe it.
I am going to put some respect and faith in the average RPG content viewer.
Oh, I wish I had the sound effect. RPG.
Okay.
RPG.
Okay.
Why is that controversial? I think they're RPG
because
viewers. I would respect them above like the completely average viewer who's just on YouTube at random.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, like the generic thing is like, you know, the audience is a bunch of idiots. No, but what I'm saying is, and this is why maybe a little bit of hater content. And again, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here. At some point, in a lot of these YouTubers, their channel went from a place where they would post ideas and suggestions in order to help you with your RPG journey, GMing, or whatever, and it switched to a marketing funnel. And when that switch occurs, I think that the audience as a whole is responding. There might be other factors, right? 5e's been out for 10 years. And people are like, yeah, I know how to play 5e. I don't need your advice and tips anymore. Hey, there's now 25,000 third-party products out there. I know, because I bought some of, you know, you content creator, you made some content, you know, you made some third-party publish, and I bought it from you. I don't need another video about, you know, whatever, 5e this. Or, hey, when I started this, I was brand new. I had nobody. I had nothing. I've now run 7 campaigns in the last 10 years. You know, how many did you run, content creator? You know, I might be more of an experienced GM than you now. So, like, I think there's definitely a growing up of the audience. But I also think that the audience is kind of like, what is this channel for? What are you doing with your content? Are you trying to educate? Are you trying to entertain, or are you trying to get engagement and clicks and marketability and sell your new thing and push your new thing and blah, 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 blah?
Oh, by the way,
I think they are.
Yeah, I'm going to totally say that's not true, that these YouTube channels are not marketing funnels. But while you mention it, there is still time to back Battlezoo Eldamon Legends, which is only got a week left on Kickstarter. If you go to eldamonlegends.com right now, you got some time. If you back it,
we're actually really close to the next stretch goal, which is going to
close.
create these like elemental overview videos for each of the elements
by Diana of the Rose, and
who
maybe
that might have been.
I'll get her on the channel too, and we could do and talk all about Battlezoo Eldamon. Don't forget about the new special edition cover that you can't get anywhere else. But I completely disagree with you, Derik, that these are nothing but marketing.
I just want to say that was well done. That was probably one of the best segues I've ever seen in my entire life.
Operators were standing by. Because I think I got you for a second there. You thought I was being serious.
Oh, I did. But like, again, but also I get it. They're in the business of RPGs now, right? And the business of RPGs is selling books or selling ad space or selling sponsorships. I get it. That's the business of RPGs.
Well, for us,
it's not the hobby of RPGs. Right, but it's the business of RPGs, and at some point, if you're, if you're a content creator, and you're producing content, maybe your husband works, maybe maybe he doesn't, but you're producing content. You quit your job so that you could make content. And at a certain point, you got to deliver the goods, right? You got to bring home the bacon, and we've established that YouTube doesn't bring home the bacon. Okay, I gave you my numbers. And I get it. I'm a small content creator. Okay, so maybe whatever X double that or whatever if you're somebody else, or triple that. But like my point is though, I'm a single guy with no kids. Like it's pretty it's much easier for me to get by on a very small income. So for all these other people, and also I do everything myself. Like if you've got an editor and a staff and whoever the hell else you got working for you, like there's financial pressures. And so they go, well, gee, what do I have this platform, I have this audience. How do I hate to say it, monetize this audience and try to make money out of it?
Well, to be fair, and Mark was there at the beginning, we started the company and I just wanted to do YouTube. I will be completely honest, is that yes, it's part of a marketing scheme. It's part of helping market Roll for Combat and our books and our products and to answer questions, talk about them. But we have a lot of experience. Like when it comes to, Mark has written like 200 books. I have just me. I'm just me.
Okay. Well, you guys are coming at this from a completely different perspective, right? You came in with a fully funded company, right? With a professional setup, with a professional designer and developer who had industry credits. Like, your situation is very different. Right. You're more like a Darrington Press, really, than you are like, some of these.
Doing this again, for fun, literally. I mean, we literally do this for fun.
Well,
it was more of it, like for these other people, they come in just kind of doing their channel, it becomes big. They then publish other things. It becomes a marketing funnel. Whereas for us, we were already a company. And Steven, you were like, it'd be cool if to get people to know us, if we could just talk to people and give them advice and have this video. And that us having more of a profile might also help the company too as a side thing. But like that was very different, as Derik says.
Yeah, very different. And I get it. I'm a nothing burger, right? I'm a nobody. And I have a very vocal, component of my supporters and patrons who are always just like, Derik, when are you going to make something? Derik, when are you going to publish something? Derik, when are you going to do this? Derik, when are you going to do that? And I'm like, I get it. So like there's people who are literally shouting at you, please make something so you can take my money. I mean, talking about doing something and doing something are very different things.
Yeah, but you're getting closer. I mean, how Smith's
it's coming along very well, but again, that only happened because both he and I both lost our jobs.
Well,
so you know
what I mean? Like guess what? The only reason this happened, Roll for Combat, is because of COVID. So, I wouldn't have probably done this.
No. I had a photography studio. I got shut down because of COVID.
Right.
And when we reopened, the last thing that people wanted to do was go, get photography. People started working from home. Most of my business was going to doctor's office, dentist's office, lawyers' firms, and doing headshots for the company. Nobody was even in the office. My business was literally dead. My studio was in complete mothballs. And that's when Bob said, Derek, we should just make a YouTube. We should put our game on YouTube.
Mhm.
That's what we started literally because of COVID.
Yeah, I just did podcasting. I did podcasting 23 years ago for video games. I just liked it because I thought it was a great medium. Now, I was living in Manhattan at the time, and when you live in Manhattan, you walk everywhere. You walk.
Mhm.
That's all you do is walk. So I'm always walking, and I was always listening to music. That's what I did. And actually, I also listened to books on tape. And then this thing called podcasting came around, and I was like, oh my God, I can actually listen to interesting topics about video games or board games rather than books on tape, which are okay, but you kind of have to really pay attention to a books on tape. And I can only listen to music for so long. And that's where it came into. And I loved it so much that I said, you know what, I'm going to start podcasting. I just love the medium so much, which turned into all of this. But so I think the medium has changed. I think getting it now and Discourse Minis, Discourse Dungeons, she was saying, because she did a video on this the other day, that it's just very hard to break in now because, you can't put out a video of how to build a bard. You can't put out a video, there's a million of those, okay? You put yours out, no one cares. That ship has sailed. So you either have to really have a good hook or, oh my God, good content, heaven forbid, or...
Even if you have good content, there's people out there putting out good content that nobody ever watches. Content
and luck. There's a lot of luck. There is just a lot of luck. Simple
luck
stuff.
that the topic picks up, or just happening to respond to just the correct topic that blows up your channel, which requires effort and trying over and over again. It's not just luck,
but if you're not there, and if you're not there. So we were just
you can't get luck if you don't try.
Right. You can't get luck if you don't try.
If you're doing something that you need a natural 20 to succeed on.
If you're not out there.
And you only try once and you don't get the natural 20, and well, I guess I wasn't lucky. That's different than someone who tries 50 times.
Right.
And they were actually very unlucky, but they eventually got the natural 20 on try number 50.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Chance favors the prepared mind, right? That's the...
So a lot of people, by the way, are asking about 13 Omens. I actually don't want to
We also got a super chat from Waters Leeds who said, "What? This is a marketing scheme?
it's a multi-tier marketing scheme.
It's a multi-level
marketing scheme. I do not want to talk about 13 Omens yet. We actually do know some information about it, but I actually don't think I know enough information. I would rather us maybe reach out to Thirsty or Eric Mona and see if I can maybe get them on when they're ready to talk about it.
Not only that, any information that hasn't been publicly given, you're not at liberty to say.
Right.
So.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say. To be fair, we do know about it. I've known about it for a couple of months. All of us have. But I don't know what's public, so I can't say anything other than it's cool and it's neat. They're doing a new game and they're going in a very different direction in a lot of ways. That's all I'm going to say. But I'd rather talk to them and see if we can get them on. And then we could talk about it more officially. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, because I don't know what I can say. Simple as that.
Yes, but somebody, I think it was Waters actually. Waters said something that actually made me think of something too, which is, now to be clear, I have never been I've always been, polygamorous, right? I've always been into polygamy, and I've always had a lot of books on my shelves. But, one of the reasons when I started this channel, I was running a Pathfinder 2 campaign. The Pathfinder 2 was brand new as a system. It had my heart and my interest. And we were talking a lot about Pathfinder 2. But at a certain point, my channel started talking about all the other games that I already owned or newer games. And that's because I've always been into other games. But part of the reason for that was because I was like, I don't need to talk about this game anymore. I've talked about this game enough. And so one of the things that might also factor into these people's decisions is they're like, guys, there's nothing left to fucking talk about. Right?
Yeah. That happens a lot.
It's 5e D&D, I always talk with my buddy who I play racquetball with about how easy it must be to be a sports. He listens to Barstool Sports and all those, whatever podcasts. And I go, how amazingly easy it must be to be a sports channel or a sports content creator.
No, it's not.
Because there's new stuff to talk about.
That's true.
Literally every day.
Yeah, no, there is.
Right. There's always something new to talk about. Or even, on a more broad scale, a Magic the Gathering content creator. Because every, 6 weeks. Here comes a new set,
Yep.
new product. We get to talk
Every
about
6
everything
weeks,
else again.
even every week.
And that doesn't
Yeah,
mean
right.
that it's easy in the sense of
No.
anybody
I
can
mean-
do it or that people don't have skill to do well at it.
No.
What Derik is saying is that in terms of getting a topic
Well,
and having
content.
something to talk
Yeah.
about that's fresh, it is much easier to pick out a topic when you're in one of those constantly changing and evolving situations.
And I would
I mean,
say,
for people who don't know this, I went through all whatever it is, 1,250 Pathfinder 2 spells that were
and
published. At the time
everyone's
we did
asking you to do it again.
Right. And everyone wants me to do them again. And I'm like, guys, it literally took me, I don't even know how long. It took me like
I hate to say
over
it,
100.
it was so much fun. I would do that with you. It was so much fun. I loved watching them. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's the
No,
same
but
reason
I'm
why
saying-
everyone puts out top 10 or top 100 videos every year. Even though it's the same stupid movies and the same stupid TV shows and the same pop culture stuff time and time again. Because people, I don't know, man, people just like them. People like lists.
But I know they do. And
Dance
again, and we
Monkey
did it.
Dance. That's a
Right.
great,
And
there
like-
we go.
And everyone's like, do you know how many, especially they want to do archetypes. We did classes.
I
Now, classes
know. I
obviously is a small
loved
thing.
it. I loved it. I loved when you were
but-
ranking those. They're so good.
But like, but my, I get,
Uh,
but my, my
Wait,
point though
wait.
is,
do Eldamon. Do an Eldamon. Do the rankings. Come on.
that's something that could be done. That would be fun because I'm actually legitimately interested in that.
I know.
But the thing is like at a certain point, like,
Oh,
okay,
look, people are asking for you to post the links to those. They're like, where can I watch that? In all caps. Because people want to
Oh,
see. It is so good. I was on that
wait,
one. I was on when we did the level 10 and we did Dinosaur
Yes.
Fort. That was so much fun. I gave it an A. You gave it
I
an
remember
F.
you guys told me about it afterwards.
And then I gave it a
and
C. I gave it a
even
C
though I
afterwards.
wrote Dinosaur Fort in like a joke on like a holiday, I think it was like on Christmas, I just put it into the forums. I agreed that Derik's low rating of Dinosaur Fort was correct based on his criteria for Dinosaur Fort.
Look,
Thank
everyone's
you.
saying they're
It
going
was
to watch
not based
Eldamon.
on themes. It was not based on doing something interesting in the story, like setting up your fort, but was purely based on like the suitability for battle.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And you should not be preparing Dinosaur Fort if you were expecting to go into a dungeon,
No.
find a spot where you can throw it out in the middle of a fight, and then have those T-Rexes
Look,
do
all
something.
I-
That's not what it
Everyone
does.
wants you to rank the
He's
Eldamon.
right.
Everyone
right.
wants you to rank the
Okay.
Eldamon.
okay, all I'm trying to say is that if you are a D&D 5e content creator and you've been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years, you have done the equivalent of that like 5 different times. And you're just like, I'm over it. Now, I get around this by talking about all these new games and old games that
Never
I love,
ends.
that are beloved, that no one ever cares about. And so,
Isn't it more fun to do the new game
Wait,
of the
people
year,
want you to
like
rank
when you
more
did the
presidents.
awards
Yeah.
for 2025?
Yeah.
Right, for the Golden Knights, right? We said,
Yeah.
hey, like, and our criteria for Golden Knights were they had to be products that basically meaningfully came out in 2025. And we put respect on the games that we thought were respect that was due. And these were all new games, and they're still old games that we're covering that I come across and I'm like, oh, I never played that game. I never heard about that game. So we get to talk about that game. We were covering a game that just kickstarted recently-ish from Magpie called Temeraire, which is like a Napoleonic
Yeah, it's the book
dragon.
series you were mentioning.
Yeah.
It's the Napoleonic Dragons book series.
Right. And they made a game for it. And of course, it's got a bunch of, weird Magpie bespoke mechanics. But I was like, oh, this is really neat. But like, there you go, Dave Boy. Yeah, I talked about Hillfolk. Nobody will ever talk about that game ever again, Dave Boy. But, it's Robin Laws, right? I mean, he's one of one of the architects of RPG thought. And so, Robin's Laws of Gaming is a great book. But anyways, point is, if you're a 5e content creator, I would agree. It would get boring. Like, there's only so much I can talk. I love, I don't know, the One Ring second edition, but there's only so much I could talk about the One Ring second edition.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Actually, that was a big topic, and it was even in Rascal. It's like because there was no news about D&D for so long that people didn't know what to talk about because it was just like there was nothing.
Okay.
It was radio silent for a very long time.
Okay, two things. Okay, there was the Jesus died on the cross to save them moment. Was this actually all got delayed by 3 or 4 years because OGL saved them. See, for all the content creators that were like, this is an outrage and I'm so mad about it, they're over there in the background going like counting the bills because that was huge. No, it was huge for them, Mark.
It was hard.
Look, no, Mark, the views went through the roof, and everybody started a Kickstarter. Everybody did like $1.7 million because everybody was like, down with WotC, support the local independent creator. It was so good for all of those people. I refuse to accept anything else.
Well,
I'm just telling you that in the background, a lot of those people were legitimately frustrated, scared, upset, and angry about it. And yes, it was a silver lining that they were able to organize and get things to happen. But they were like, I've been in the background where people are talking about things and like sometimes talking about their stress and asking for support. And it was not full of people rubbing their hands together, being like,
Mark,
I think Kelsey might disagree with you on that. By the way.
Mark, what is the Venn diagram? Okay, Mark, what is the Venn diagram between those people? Okay, and DMs who go like, that monster, he's really low on hit points, you guys. Meanwhile, the monster's at -10. One more good hit should do it. You know, I'm just saying, like, you know, talk is cheap, Mark. Follow the money.
Anyhow,
you're very cynical, Derik.
I do want to shift to. Do you have racquetball today, Derik? By the way,
I do.
All right, so we
want to talk about a related topic.
Oh, I don't know how I missed this topic, but you know it. You love it. The Minmaxed controversy, man.
And this is related to the people leaving because it's also about like how it can be hostile in the space. And they Minmaxed, which is an actual play, is not leaving, but
it's the opposite.
They're new and they were just starting off, and I could easily see a group getting discouraged by something like this.
So
I don't know anything. I just want to add something, by the way. I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, I didn't know anything until.
But when I started looking into it, and I didn't know it was called Minmaxed, but I do remember when I heard that a bunch of like, I don't know, the lack of a better word, I'll call them historical European martial arts YouTubers were getting together to play D&D, because I have seen and or you know watched some of those people before talking about like how bows worked in the medieval period or whatever. I do remember seeing that being a thing that was being talked about. So I understood that they were trying to put together a show to get these separate YouTubers to play D&D.
By the way, and so here's what happened. I'll give you the very big overview. There's already been a lot of people talking about this. Is that
Sword Tubers?
Sword Tubers, that's a great name. Is that Minmaxed, which is a channel of like, I think it's 7 people, friends, that were really new to D&D, and they're into like martial art fighting, and they wanted to do a actual play. And they put out a GoFundMe, and they made $100,000 in like 4 days. What? And they took it down. They actually took it down because they made too much money. They only wanted like 20,000 or something, and so they took it down because they made too much. And then they put out their first. Video episode. I didn't watch it, but then this other person came around, and One Shot, who is a YouTuber that has nearly 1 million subscribers, he went through the budget, which we're going to break down because I have all the numbers, and he went crazy. He just basically was saying how the money was being wasted, that they raised 100,000, and that, you know, he felt like that they really didn't spend the money wisely, which is...
It just seems wild to me to want to do that, like to look at this newcomer to the field of, it's like, hey, they're going around, they're playing a D&D game with these like weapon tubers, and just be like, I'm going to nickel and dime their accounting and decide whether or not I think they spent the money well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Derik had no idea who any of these people were. I certainly didn't know who this person was. But I will say this: when you sent me that link, and I just want to I want to address you, okay, the audience, if you somehow see this, okay, what is wrong with you that asshat has almost 1 million subscribers? Like, what could that person possibly offer you that is worth following their content for? Like it is just the lowest denominator of just awful, horrible drivel. To say nothing of the fact, like he starts the video with like the most obvious gaslighting I've ever seen, where he's just like, guys, I love this community so much, man, and I just hate seeing you guys get taken advantage of. And it's like the most performative bullshit ever. And I look at people like this, and I look at the fact that he has like almost 1 million subscribers, and it just like, it doesn't even, you know what? I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. You know? And you know what? I am Silvio, just to answer my questions. It got big during COVID with shorts. It's fucking shorts.
Whenever someone has a million subscribers and they have no, I wouldn't call it content, but they don't
have anything to say. They have nothing to say.
I'll let Derik say what I won't say, but it's because of shorts. As simple as that. It's because of shorts. So anyhow, real quick, so just keep going. Crispy Tavern, who I really like his show a lot, actually. I do follow him, and I'm actually doing a big advertising push for Eldamon Legends next week with him. I think Crispy I think he's pretty sharp. I think he has a very good head on his shoulders. He definitely knows what he's talking about, and his channel's really exploding. And then he put out a video detailing the other video and ripping into him, and then it became a he said back and forth of each YouTuber ripping on the other YouTuber, and it got messy. I mean, it really got messy. I'm not going to get into any of that, but what I do want to get into, because I want to just look at the numbers, because we actually happen to have 3 people here who are actually experts on every single penny that they spent. Between the fact that Derik,
all of the things that aren't something that Roll for Combat would do, Derik would do.
Yeah.
And so when we bring him in to Roll for Combat's expertise, we know how much these things cost.
We know exactly.
Typically.
So I'm going to bring up
we can rate, did they overspend? Did they neutrally spend? Or did they actually get a bargain on some of this stuff?
Yeah. That's all I want to do. I'm not positive or negative. I'm literally just going to go through these numbers because I know you guys really like when we do this and tell you what things cost.
And by the way, even if they overspent on something, even if they did overspend on something a little, that there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you spend more than maybe you could have.
Let me give you a sneak preview of my opinion here, because this guy, okay, the 3 people you see on screen, those are the actual people who are the running, basically are creating this content.
Yeah.
The
Minmaxed short.
The chode penis tuber, the guy who actually like shit on them, was like putting up things and putting about like talking about their values. And I actually thought he was complaining that they spent far too little, because I saw the dollar values that he was talking about, and I went, oh yeah, they spent nothing. They should have definitely spent a lot more money.
No, he was like, they spent way too much. And I'm like,
he was like,
what? Are you insane?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's one thing for somebody to be an asshat and a dick and a piece of shit, but it's another thing for you to be utterly and completely and totally wrong. And I was just like listening to this guy talk. Again, this is what I got, you know, I could feel the bile building in my throat, because I was like, how does this person have this kind of reach? By the way, it's not a jealousy thing. I don't want that kind of reach. I don't even like when there's too many people in my chat. I can't read it all. It just bothers me. I don't need his subscribers. I just need his subscribers to go away. Okay, like it's just like, why are people listening to somebody like this? It's indicative of everything that's wrong with our society.
All right, let's get into it before Derik explodes. First of all, they raised $100,000. There was almost $4,000 in fees. Very smart. They took out money for taxes, which no one does. Very, very smart. Right. So they got $72,000 to create multiple seasons of an actual play with, I think, 7 players who live all around the world, and they want to do it in person. Okay.
By the way, that's a good point, Real Rusty. It's nice. This is tax day. We're doing a budget breakdown.
Tax day.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. It's all relative.
Tax day is a holiday in the Pathfinder setting of Golarion for Abadar, the god of the vault.
You know what's crazy about that? I knew that because we used to have this guy named Golarion in Depth who has a YouTube channel you can check out, and he would always talk about this. Question: I didn't know GoFundMe. I thought it was just for like Like,
It could be for anything.
I'm an American, so I went to the hospital and now I'm facing bankruptcy. Can you please help me?
For that, yeah. Most of
Okay,
it's that.
okay.
So let's get to the next slide. So now the atmosphere. Now, they made a gaming table, and I was like, do I know someone who was making a custom-built gaming table and knows exactly what that would cost? Oh, that's right. I do. His name is Mark Seifter. His name is Derik.
It's Derik.
I have made several tables.
That's right. That's right.
Both for my
for my own studio,
but I also sold them to people as part of furniture building.
We have some perspective on this. Maybe we actually, unlike some other people, might actually know what we're talking about here. So, Derik, what is your thoughts on this price? $7,144.
For the set, the gaming table, and the venue.
The gaming table and the venue. And the set, I don't have a picture of the set, but they had an actual set. Oh, and someone else, I wonder who else builds actual sets. Who could that be? Who could that? Oh, is that Derik Melinda? Yes. So we have someone here who's literally done this and knows what it costs.
Yep. So again, I don't know what constitutes the set. And I don't know what constitutes this, but I could say
they had actual backgrounds, and they had they had like a fake wall, and they had weapons and stuff. You know, like
so. No, I saw it. I saw it. It looked nice, and it looked. I would say it even looked better than some of the stuff that we did. I could say this: our original set, consisted of 8 studio flats. And for those of you who know what a theater flat is, it's just an 8-foot by 4-foot sheet attached to a frame that you could prop up from behind. It consisted of 8 of those, and then we built a table. Now that table was designed to look good, present well, but to be functional on camera, right? It wasn't necessarily designed to be a custom heirloom furniture piece that I would put in, say, someone's house, like the kind of tables I built when I was kind of basically making, the gaming vault tables. Those were made out of fine ebony or walnut, and it was designed to look good from all angles. This is a studio build table. I can tell you that my studio set, just for materials, and by the way, the labor cost, $0. They paid somebody to build these. They paid a studio. I just bought materials, and it was me and Bob being press ganged into doing all this. I probably spent more money than that.
You spent more money than that while doing the labor yourself.
Correct.
Correct. What we have determined is on this category, they got a bargain.
They got a huge bargain.
Because they paid for labor. Whoever was doing that labor gave them a good deal.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I saw their set from the videos that they posted up. It looked great. And by the way, you know what it looked really better than? Green screen or some shitty printed backdrop, because it has depth. It has depth. It looks good. It reflects light better. It absorbs. It does everything that a set does that a green screen / just a backdrop cannot do. I thought it looked great. It had a lot of detail. I didn't get a great look at the table, but it seemed totally functional. I thought it looked fantastic. And again, I could tell you that I probably spent more than that just in raw materials for everything that we did.
Jess did point out that they did use their swords. And
there you go. Okay, all right, fair enough. But that was
some cost already. They already had the swords.
But our set consisted of a faux castle texture, windows, some lighting effects in the windows, the table, the run up, the structure. Again, I don't know what constitutes the set and the gaming table and the venue. Again, I don't know about their venue is. I rented a roughly, we'll call it, under 1,000 square feet. I mean, it was probably closer to 800 square feet. I used to rent an 800 square feet. Basically, it was an office in a medical office building, and I rented that, and I paid close to $1,500 a month just to rent that space. So, again, I don't know exactly how they're what they did and what they structured from that perspective, but renting a space like that is not cheap. So again, that amount of money.
If they tried to do all the filming all together over a short period of time, maybe they could have saved something. But honestly, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah,
all of that seems not only a fantastic deal. I actually am shocked that it was that little.
Yeah.
So they obviously know what they're doing, and they knew people who they could get a good price.
Well, they were
and by the way, that assumes that the table was a studio table.
Right, and that it wasn't
Like-
of high enough quality to be a
Like-
take-home table.
Yeah, if it was like a real table, like the kind that Critical Role gets made for them, right? Where it's like, sure, it's a studio table, but it's Critical Role. Like they can afford to spend. That's going to run you 10, 12, 13, 14,000 dollars.
Which we know
just
it
for the
wasn't
table.
just from the cost, unless they got a studio
Correct.
table or like a real table from someone who really discounted it.
Yeah, so it's
So why does this
absolutely-
guy think that that's an overspend? Does he just have no clue about
Yeah,
anything?
He has
he's
no
a,
idea.
No, he's a typical internet asshole, Mark, who just talks about shit that he has no idea about, just to like open up his mouth and let shit fly out. And then it's, and if he was just like doing this from like a rage perspective, like I'm jealous, they did well, I did poorly, and I'm going to shit on them and be an internet troll, I could respect that. But he did it all through this angle of like, I just hate seeing you guys get taken advantage of. Number one, why the fuck do you care about what other people do with their money? This had nothing to do with you. Like I can't even, I struggle to understand anything about this person.
Okay, well, he was wildly
Let's get to the
wrong
next
about
one.
the set, the gaming table, and the venue. Let's check some of the other categories to see if
My
he's
turn.
closer to
My
being
turn.
less wrong.
Okay, my turn. The art. I know a little bit about this, just a tiny bit, as I literally have commissioned probably past, it's easily in the
Thousands?
tens of thousands of pieces of art. And I, unlike him, have actually done logo design professionally. And I'm going to talk about that. I have a new story, guys. A new Glicker story that you've never
Oh
heard.
boy.
So first of all, character art, $1,200 for art for all their characters. I believe it's 7 characters.
7 characters.
That is
And this is
dirt
not just
cheap.
any piece of art. This has to be the
Mhm.
iconic
Yes.
look of that character, which is going to be more expensive than just some random full body that you get for your book.
Super Chat said he did it because the drama equals views equals revenue. Well, we have no idea why he did it, but well, it worked because there's a lot of views and people are doing really well because of it. But anyhow, yeah, on average, a single piece of art for a spot piece of character art with no background can cost anywhere from, its lowest is about $150, and it goes up from there depending on the quality.
Yeah,
of what you need it
that
for.
is low, and you wouldn't normally want that to be like your main iconic character art for a character in an actual play. And if you multiply that by that low amount by 7, then you get almost $1,200, which is what they spent.
Yeah, that was
I'm
very,
shocked.
very reasonable.
And to
I'm
reiterate, I
shocked
cannot
that they
believe
got
this.
7
Yeah.
character arts for that.
This guy was commenting that they overspent.
Oh,
Like
know.
I
Yeah.
thought he was upset, basically saying they got 100,000 and they didn't spend enough of the money. Where did it go? Like, are they like, are they skimming it? You know, like they're telling people, oh, and I was thinking like he was upset. No, he was upset that he was saying they overspent. And
What
I
did
went,
he think they were supposed to pay artists?
I don't know.
Does
I
he
mean,
just use AI art or something
well,
like that? Does he
look,
not
you can
ever
do
dealt
that.
with a real artist any time in his life? And if he thinks logos aren't
wait.
to be fair, before I got into actual publishing,
Boy, I can't
the
wait.
first time I was told how much a logo costs, when I was like,
boy.
this is like nothing. Why did it cost that much? My jaw dropped. So I can
Okay.
actually understand him being surprised by logos, but
Okay.
logos
okay.
are just more expensive than you can possibly imagine for less than you can possibly imagine.
Oh boy, here comes a new story. Oh boy, I've been waiting. I can't wait to talk about this. So, $1,200 for character art. Now my turn. Logo design. $861, and he thought that was way too much money because, according to him, he spent 1 year doing layout and design on logos or whatever, or graphic design. Well, as someone who literally has a degree from Carnegie Mellon on graphic design, who taught graphic design at NYU, Carnegie Mellon, the new school, who has worked on some of the biggest logos in the history of the world and has 34 years on design and elements of logos. Let me tell you a little bit about logo design. So, new story. Back in 1998, I worked on a little logo, and it was with a company called Pentagram. Pentagram is one of the premier design studios in the entire world. So, back when I was in Manhattan, I was called in to help Pentagram work on a logo and present it to their board of directors and their CEO. And I actually did work with Pentagram before, where our studios were near each other. And I did interactive work for them. They would do physical work, but they weren't very good at doing presentations. And they needed to really wow the board of directors and the CEO, because this was when, in 1998, Citibank merged with Travelers Group. And Citibank needed a new logo. And Pentagram was hired to create the logo, the new logo for Citibank, which is the logo you see now today, by the way, same one. And they were hired to create a logo for Citibank, a new logo that they were going to put on everything. And I was brought in to do this multimedia presentation back in Macromind Director, if anyone remembers that. That was even before Flash. That was the predecessor to Flash. And I brought in, and I actually met, I was pretty high stress because there was like all of these people that were working on this logo. It was up to me to present it to the board of directors. So they basically put all their hopes and dreams on me, because everything they did, I had to put into an interactive presentation. And I still remember to this day, because I had to watch this thing 10 trillion times. The music was right here, right now, right here, right now. I don't know if you guys remember that song from the 90s, but it was like
Right here, right now.
And then it was like, oh God. It was like, I just heard it so many fucking times. Anyhow, it's just like, and it was an instrumental, by the way. And it was like, do, 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 do. And so what we did is we actually had the logo shown in like 100 different ways. We had it shown on a billboard, on a bank, on a card, on a checkbook, in a store. Like, you had to show what the logo would look like in the real world. And that was part of the presentation, because they had to, it was part of the presentation to show it to everyone. How much do you think, without looking it up, the Citibank logo in 1998, this is a very famous logo, by the way. There's actually case studies on this logo, because this logo was designed by a very famous logo designer by actually writing it on a napkin. Okay, that's actually part of this, the mystique, is that they said, oh, you need a logo? Took out a napkin and sketched it and said, there you go, there's your logo. And then they developed it.
Famous logo designers I know can be like $5,000 to $10,000 at max. I do not know how much the Citibank one was, so I'm going to say 5,000, because that's very high for a logo, but it's not the maximum ever.
I'll say that's not high.
I'm going to say I'm going to say 20. I'm going to say 25,000.
$1.5 million.
Whoa.
1.5 million for, and that's in $1998 to come up with the Citibank logo.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Not really.
I know they can be $5,000 to $10,000 a lot of the time. 1.5 million.
No, they start. So I've been on actually a lot of logo designs. So back in the day, I've actually worked on a lot of these. It costs, it usually starts at about 100,000, goes up from there. Because logo design, not only do you have to come up with the logo, but you have to do what's called a brand book. And the brand book, if you've never seen one, probably no one has. A brand book is basically how the logo is used in every possible instance, and has the rules for the logo. A brand book could be 100, 200 pages minimum. And it has all the rules, all the fonts, all the colors. So is this counting the price
of the logo and the brand book?
Oh, it comes with everything. It's not just a logo. When you buy a logo, you get all the you get everything. That's part of the logo. And then how to use it in every situation, how to use it outdoors, how to use it indoors, how to use it digital, how to use it print. We had things on the logo. I remember, so I would get these brand books. So I did Fortune 500 websites for a long time. And very commonly is that you would have someone's logo in the upper left-hand corner. You would click on the logo to go back to the homepage on a web page. I would have certain companies give us a brand book that literally said, you cannot use our logo as the click. You can't click on our logo to go somewhere. And that would be part of the brand book. So we'd actually have to read the brand book cover to cover to make sure we were not using the logo in an inappropriate way. And the logo, as Jess says, the logo is an excellent logo. Okay. I mean, like, there's case studies on this logo. It's very famous.
Even the cheapest bottom of the barrel logos you can find tend to cost at least $100. And those are not like the kind of logos you would even want. And to be clear, they need multiple logos, right? They have the smaller logo, they have the larger logo.
Yep. There's the City Bites, there's Citibank, there's the City with the T. By the way, the red T is because it was Travelers. Travelers Group had a red umbrella, as their logo. So they combined the two, and that's why it has that red little thing over
And even
the eye.
Minmaxed has multiple versions of their logo.
Yeah,
Like
their
the fact
logo,
that they got multiple logos for 800 some,
I
it's
think
not
it's
the cheapest
excellent.
possible, but it's close.
I think it was excellent for what they got. I think the logo is
It was a good
very good for what they needed for.
Yeah,
it was
when
a
I
very good
started
logo.
this, when I started this channel and I had nothing, I was like, okay, I went to Fiverr and I picked, Esteban 295 or whatever, to do my logo, and it was like $150.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you go to Fiverr, 100 is like the cheapest you're gonna find.
So, right, you could do a logo
nowadays
for
you might find
$150.
less if an AI just does it, but then
well, that's what I'm saying. But I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that they wanted something a little bit more refined and professional than some random dude on Fiverr, right? Like somebody that they could work with again, somebody who's going to do multiple iterations, somebody who's going to adhere to a certain stylistic guideline. So again, $800, yeah. As for character art, I have spent hundreds of dollars on Fiverr art that basically never got out of the sketch phase because it was so bad. And I just lost that money. So I'm like, oh man, to get good pieces done for a large crew for $1,200, fantastic.
By the way, so
this person is, everything about this person tells me that they either never use art or they grossly underpay / exploit people for artwork.
Yeah.
Or they're just trying to use AI for everything instead of actually use artists and people doing it.
By the way, here's some information you can look up. There's actually it was like articles about this logo. Paula Scheer was a partner at the Pentagram design agency, and it was part of an overall. They did a $10 million brand overhaul, which included strategy, rollout, global implementation across thousands of branches and platforms. Of that 10 million brand overhaul, the logo was 1.5 million. And her exact quote, which is one of my favorite quotes of all time, is that when questioned about charging 1.5 million for a sketch that took her seconds to create, she famously replied that it took her 34 years to learn how to do that in a few seconds. And that is what is lost on so many people. It's like, oh, you do that. It's so easy. I'm like, yeah. It's like when Mark creates Eldamon, or like, it's like, yeah, it's easy for us because we've been doing it.
It's like when I created Battlezoo Ancestry Dungeons in one day when Steven gave me no notice.
Right. Exactly.
That doesn't mean that it was a double length day. It was a 16-hour work day. It was a short product. But it also doesn't mean that it's only like 1 day's worth of work or effort, because it took a lot of learning and working to be able to get to a point where I could do that. I'm
not going to bring up Citibank. I can't switch screens. Just type in Citibank and you can see the logo. It's the blue logo with the swoop over the T, which is meant to be an umbrella. If you want to look up the original Travelers. So my big thing is that he was shocked that a logo costs $861 because he's never heard of anyone spending that much on a logo before. Well, now you have. Adjusted for inflation, $3 million for one logo. You're welcome. Anyhow.
So let's go back to Derik for the next one, I think.
Yes. Oh, no. I have nothing to do with this. Now we go to the tech. I'm done. Camera, $924 for multiple cameras. The tablets, $1,152. I think they probably needed at least 5 or 6 tablets. Mics, $1,400. Lighting, $1,300. I remember when we were sitting in the hotel room and Derik is pulling out these lights that you can, those magnetic lights that are like the size of a playing card. And I was like, wow, those are cool. How much are those? He's like, a couple $100. And that's like for nothing.
Now I should point out that this screenshot is from Minmax's screen.
Right. This is how much they spent. This is what they spent.
Right. But I'm saying, and I'm saying, like, he was what was his name? Questing. It's not Questing Beast. I don't want to.
No. It's one shot questers. One shot
questers. That's why the quest was in there.
Yes.
Again, I don't want to. Maybe he has some sort of, maybe some sort of TBI or something.
Well, he did want to use Logitech. Web cameras.
Everything he said Everything that he said on this part of the stream was the most. For starters, let's cut down to the mic. That asshole was doing the video on a Shure SM7B, which is
$550 mic,
which is already a like $300-400 mic for one.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's probably going into a cloud lifter because they all do, even though people probably don't know why it goes into a cloud lifter, but it does go into cloud lifters. So that's like another $100-150. Okay, so just that guy already, you for one mic have invested, $500. You're insane, but okay.
And they mentioned that does have it. They didn't need a mixer, and they needed XLR cables too.
Okay, now this is why this is actually the first screen I thought he was shitting on them for spending too little. Okay, let me break this down. For my bedroom studio, I spent $9,000 on just the cameras. Okay.
Yep.
And by the way, these aren't the top of the line. Now, is this what Critical Role uses? Sure. But, or something very similar to it. But I spent $9,000 just for the camera. Now, it's on YouTube. It's going through a Zoom call, right? It's going through a Zoom call to Steven, through Discord. The shot that you are seeing of me is on a roughly, $8,000 camera between the lens and the other thing. So when he said this, I thought, oh, he's mad at them because they just must have spent money on some shitty, horrible webcams.
He wanted to use a Logitech camera.
And then he proceeds to say, why didn't they just use webcams? And I wanted to choke him so badly for being such an asshole. Like, it's unthinkable. Like, unthinkable. Like, I'm actually a little upset at Minmaxed because I'm like, wow, you guys really cheap the fuck out. I'm actually like, you should have spent more money. Like, you have some standards. Okay. Now, apparently they explain that they actually didn't really end up using. They actually bought.
They had other equipment. They had some other equipment.
Well, no,
too, by the way.
They explained that they bought two DJI action.
Start.
Yeah. The way they explained it is they bought two DJI action cams that for some odd reason didn't work, and they ended up having to use the venue, the studio spaces. They used DJI Pocket Osmo 3. Steven, you're very familiar with it because that's what I was carrying around with me the whole time at GaryCon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that is a quaint, lovely little action cam. It's great for vlogging and on the go. Would I ever consider that? Would I consider that good enough to use for for an actual play? No, I wouldn't actually. I wouldn't even consider it. I consider my cameras like the bare minimum. Now I get it. I have this elevated sense of scale. But if I made $100,000, I would buy way better cameras. So I'm actually going to agree with him. I'm going to actually.
No, you disagree so strongly that you wrap around to slightly disagreeing less.
I'm saying I'm going to criticize the Minmaxed group for spending so little on their cameras, on their sound, on their mics, and on their lighting.
Which is why it's so wild that he criticized them for spending too much.
His suggestions. Okay, like I'm gonna pull out the full. I'm going to pull out the full Happy not the Happy Gilmore, the full Billy Madison quote here, right? Everyone is now dumber, okay, for having listened to you. Nowhere in your idiotic rant did you ever come anywhere close to anything resembling a rational thought. Everyone who listened to your episode, your stream, is now dumber for having heard it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Like, it was absolutely insane. Now, that's cameras. That is an unbelievably cheap amount. Spend more money. Okay, so the idea that they should use not just webcams. By the way, like for example, if Derik went all in and said, "Okay, wow, you bought a bunch of Blackmagic, FX3s or something from Sony or something like that, or Blackmagic Ursas," I would say that's overkill. I would. YouTube compression is a thing. What I have, which is a Blackmagic Micro Studio G2 4K, I think is right in the sweet spot.
But they shouldn't buy what I bought.
No, I'm saying they shouldn't buy what I bought.
Right.
Now, if you told me, hey, they're using DJI Pocket Osmos, I would say, okay, it's a decent camera, it'll work, whatever. But then to suggest that they use what I consider to be one of the single worst looking webcams of all time, which is the Logitech C90 series, which everybody has. It's that classic little. We all had it at some point, right?
At this point, I almost thought it was like, I almost think this was like a joke. I almost thought this was performance art, because I was like, did he literally just suggest they use one of the worst cameras on the market?
It's clearly not, though, because he doubled down on it.
He doubled down on it so hard. I said, that is like, are you trolling me? Like, yeah, like, what is going on right now? Like, so that was such an insanely idiotic thing to say. Now, the next thing, the tablets. There's 6 players? 7 players?
7.
Yeah.
That seems like a ridiculously good price. And somehow, apparently,
used, that's a good price.
Apparently, they were using them to, I guess they were playing on Roll20.
D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond.
Okay, they were using D&D Beyond. Okay, great. They were able to access their character and D&D maps and control their characters through their tablets. Sounds like they got a great deal on these. Like, what are we talking about here?
Maybe they bought it in bulk and they were able to get, because I do not think you're going to get a very usable tablet if you divide that by 8 for the GM, or even 7, and let's say the GM used something else.
You need a few extras. I mean, like, so I bought tablets for our booth.
Right.
And I bought them used.
Right.
I bought them used because I don't need, like, and that's still a couple $100, even used.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was crazy. All right. Mics and sound. Now, apparently their sound wasn't too good. Now, that is totally understandable, because you know what? Sound is tough.
And not only that, this was their first show, and they're going to get better. Yeah. Like when I saw that, I was like, this is definitely a first show. And you can just tell, like, and that always happens. So they're going to get better.
But they made one of the classic. But here's the thing. They made a classic blunder. And then this asshole, now, which is fine. The Minmaxed people said they used lav mics. Okay. Now, I don't know. I'm assuming they were probably, from that expense, they were probably using like the DJI or the Rode Micro or the Rode wireless lav system. Now, those are great mics. They are, but they use Bluetooth. And because they use Bluetooth, you get a lot of signal interference. There's a lot of delay. They're very sensitive microphones. And so when you have a bunch of people all sitting in close parameter, you get comb filtering and you get a lot of other problems. It is admittedly not a great solution. What Critical Role does, okay, is they have an array of microphones. And you might say, oh, they're shotgun microphones. Actually, they're not shotgun microphones, okay? They're short throw condensers with a supercardioid pattern. And they actually have a person who's riding the faders. So basically, like when Laura Bailey's talking, Laura Bailey's mic is activated and everyone else's microphone is essentially shut. Or they're doing it in post, okay? Now that it's not really live.
I think they do it in post now because it's not live. But anyhow, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not right.
Yeah.
Sound is tough. But here's the dumbest part. Now, I will freely admit, the best way to get great sound at a cheap price is admittedly what he suggested. He said, get them Rode Pod mics, which are about $100, okay? And they're great. We use them for the first couple years of this show. They're about $100, $120. You get some XLR cables, you get a boom arm, okay? And you run them into an 8-input audio interface. Here's the problem. A good, high-quality 8-input audio interface, XLR interface, is going to cost you, at a minimum, a good one. Like if you get one from Focusrite, it's going to cost you at the minimum $600 or $700.
I think they need more than.
Wait a minute.
I think they need more than 8 inputs.
Literally
by the way.
used his idea.
Correct.
It would cost the same amount that they spent.
Correct.
So but even literally using his suggestion for saving money would not have saved money.
Yeah.
Correct. But he's also an idiot because his reasoning is wrong. Because he goes, they said that they got lav mics because they wanted the people to be really dynamic and moving around a lot. And he's like, they should just get a pod mic and stick it in front of their face. Part of the reason I have tried so hard to get rid of these big microphones in front of people is because I want my players to feel more dynamic and to not have this gigantic microphone in front of them. If they're paying for this talent to come out and sit on their show, it can be really, really distracting to have, especially when you're sitting in tight quarters, to have 8 huge boom mics in front of everybody's face when you've got these camera angles. They probably were trying to deliberately avoid that. Also, your suggestion that they should be able to move around very quickly is counteracted by the pod mic setup, because the pod mic setup is designed for the classic podcaster setup where you're sitting around and you're just having a conversation, right? You're not playing a game. By the way, like microphones like this, they don't work off axis. If I lean down to read my character sheet, suddenly my voice is going to sound a lot worse because now I'm not speaking directly into my microphone. So they're trying to fix a solution. Your solution, which by the way wouldn't cost any less, doesn't solve their problem. So everything about that was completely wrong. And then lastly, lighting. I don't know what this guy's buying, but maybe he's buying some. He mentioned Amaran, which is a decent brand. It's like a prosumer level brand, right? It's somewhere between like Godox or Flashpoint is at the absolute low end, and then if you go all the way to the very highest end, you get like Aperture. And Amaran used to be a part of Aperture, but they spun it off as a discount brand, which is great. I own a lot of Amaran lights. I love them. I think they're great. They're great for me. I don't need I don't need all of my stuff to be super waterproof and to be 175,000 watts. But he's like, just get four Amaran lights and a couple C stands and some lanterns, and I go, that is already $2,000. Like the things that you are describing cost more money than they spent. So what are you talking about? If they were able to produce a show on this budget, kudos to them.
So Derik, tell me what you really think. Boy, I have not seen Derik this worked up in quite some time. He's gonna be going to racquetball after this.
Oh, I'm gonna kill somebody.
So
it
sounds like they really found a way to save money and to make sure that they respected the people who supported them by getting relatively good quality stuff. Maybe the sound they could improve on.
Yeah.
For a really good price. Like the pictures, the art is good. The logo is good. Most of their stuff is good.
Yeah. Actually, I thought the logo is very good. By the way,
so let me paint you.
Wait, let me just paint you a picture.
If Derik did this,
okay,
he would have taken $100,000. He wouldn't have saved any for taxes. He would have spent it all on cameras and lights.
Everyone, no one saves for taxes. By the way,
okay. I would not have saved for taxes. I would have spent it all on cameras and lights.
To be fair, if you spent all the money, you would not have to pay any taxes. Keep going.
Yeah, okay, you're right. It would have been a business expense. That's true. But then I would have saved all the money, and then I would have been like, "Sorry, guys, I spent all the money on lights. I only had enough money to pay the people, for 2 or 3 episodes. And sorry, the rest of the series is canceled. Right. But so hey, we have all this cool shit now.
People, we were going to look into that because that one also, he said was too high, and that is also they did really well on that. I think.
So what? By the way, to defend them, Minmaxed. Anytime you're spending, I think because they're still new at this and they had to buy 7 of these things or 8 at a time, you're not going to go get the most expensive thing. Okay. If anything, I think it's smart. Like get something.
I think they were brilliant to be able to get things
something
for these
reasonable
prices
until you're comfortable with your actual setup on how you're going to do this. And then you actually, because they're still learning. I'm like, learn how to do this. And then as you get better, then spend the money, okay? Because then you know what you need, okay? This is like, I think they were very responsible because actually, the only reason Derik can spend that money is because he knows what to do. And the only reason I would spend that money is because I would ask Derik what to spend and what to buy. And that's, that's what people do. They ask people who know what they're doing. And even then, you might not buy. Usually, when people come to me with suggestions, I always say, well, I would get XYZ, but don't get that because you don't need that. You should get this mid tier because you don't need a high end tier. You need a mid tier, and that's true for most people in most professions. No one needs that high level stuff unless you're insane like us. But we're insane. Let's go to the next one. Let's
go to the last one.
So we could all comment on this. Flights, international flights.
They had 7 players and 1 GM, and I don't know their details. So let's assume I know they lived all around. Let's assume one of them.
The one guy definitely was in your UK.
Yeah.
Let's assume one of them lived close to where they did it, at least. So maybe they only had to fly 7 out of 8. Yeah. But one was in the UK.
Yeah.
That is phenomenally good to get round trip flights. Just look at that. They spent $2,157 on the flights. That is incredible.
Well,
how is he saying that they overspent on the flights? Has he ever flown on an airplane?
You're right. I don't, I've paid for my crew, right? Smith and Bob. Yeah, I've paid them to go to Origins, which is in Columbus, which is a 2.5-hour drive away. And between the drive, the food, and the hotel, I feel like I've spent near that much money. Also, by the way, this should be an important thing here to note. These people aren't being paid They
Yeah, look,
say
the
in their
staff pay.
response,
The total staff pay is like nothing.
it's like
That's
nothing.
not their pay. That was stuff for people they had to hire to help.
That was people that
Yeah,
hired.
right.
They're paying zero to themselves.
No, they
Right.
described in the reaction video to his video that basically they basically said we're going to divide the profits that come from ad revenue, whatever future growth into eighths. And they said every creator, every person on the show gets one cut, and then there's one cut that goes to the business. By the way, that's exactly how I do things on Night's Last Call. If I have me,
Wait,
plus,
if they did eights with 7 players, maybe they only had 6 players and 1 GM.
No, I think it was 1 GM and 6 players, so 7 people.
Oh, okay. So they had 6 players and 1 GM, not 7 players and 1
Yeah.
GM. So that is slightly fewer people than we thought,
Whatever.
but it still doesn't change the overall math.
But that's exactly how I do it. If I have me as a GM and I have my 4 players, that's 5, and then I have 1 cut for KOLC as like a business entity. And so if my show makes, let's say $600, make it easy, I get $100, Bob gets $100, everybody gets $100, and KOLC the business gets $100, right? Which is usually I'm losing money from that perspective because I usually spent more money on that just to run the damn thing. So, anyways, like
So
I was
how
like,
many nights?
So you didn't?
How many nights did they do to take to film this season?
It sounded like it was a week.
So they got hotels for 7 people.
They
for a
probably
week?
shared. Yeah, but they also probably shared. Or they
Yeah,
had people
okay,
crash.
Maybe
No,
they
but
if they packed in, they could have done it in 2 rooms at
No,
best.
no, they probably need at least 3 or 4. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we
but
did-
I'm
by the
saying
way,
that if they
which,
were
to be fair,
crazy, if they were
No, but
crazy, they might have been able to do it in 2 rooms
They're
for a
not
week,
gonna
which
do
is
that.
14
Let me- no.
nights.
Let me be clear that's slumlording it. That's pretty slumming it up.
That is pretty. That is
That's like
also
what Derik and I do.
something that that is pretty. That is pretty outrageous, right? Let's say it's more realistic, and they had 3 or 4 rooms.
That's when you're sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
There's not like, how is he expecting this to be significantly cheaper than that? Hotels have just been going up and up.
I don't know.
Yeah,
their
like
costs.
let me tell you something. If you're a GM, okay, if you're Ginny D, if you're Professor Dungeon Master, and Baron DeRop invites you to go to Green Dragon Fest, trust me, Ginny D isn't on the bottom bunk of some like 3-room shack up. Like she's got her own room. Everybody's got their own room. Like, trust me, it's like the fact that this cost is so low. Well, they're not in Alabama, they're in Texas. And so like everything here
Texas is not cheap.
is insanely cheap.
It's actually
Everything here is
Yeah, hotels. Hotels are what they are. They are whatever they are. So simple as that.
And when you think about staff, if they did it in a week, okay, and if they needed those staff for some number of hours each day, even if it's 1 staff member, they didn't pay that staff. If it's 1 person that they needed for 8 hours in the day or something like that, they didn't pay them that much.
Well, I think the real key takeaway here is that they weren't actually paying the content creators for doing this. It was,
that
was
staff
staff.
were just the extra things that they needed
That was
from
actual
people who were
staff.
helping them out.
Yeah, that
even
was
that
actual
they
staff.
didn't pay them that much, and they
got paid.
paid their per diems for a week, so that is 7 days. And they may have paid their per diems for like the travel days too. That's pretty common. Time multiplied by that number of people, and it was what, $2,466. So let's say they did the travel days and that it was 7 people, so that's divided by 63. That means they gave everybody a per diem of $40. Maybe they gave more if they didn't do the travel days. That is a low per diem.
That's a very low per diem.
Actually get your food for that much. If they didn't do the travel days, it still is a low per diem. You can't get
Steven and I got Subway in the middle of Hickstown, Wisconsin, and it was like a $28 Subway bill. So yeah, you can't, $40 per diem is nothing.
And they might have given more if they didn't pay for the travel days per diem. But even then, it's not a excessive per diem. I'm going to admit this because I heard about this and I watched some analysis videos. I did not watch the initial guy's bad video because I didn't want to give him a view. How could he be saying that these are too high? These numbers are too high. I can understand that he doesn't know about cameras, he doesn't know about lighting, but like simple math calculates the per diem out. How can he think that you can get food for an entire day for that?
Because he's either an asshole or an idiot, and then most likely both.
Wow. Tell us what you really think, Derik. Anyhow, let's go to
No,
the
people like
final-
this are scum. They're parasites, and they don't need to be in the space. To say nothing of the fact that this was their first fucking episode.
I know, and
They were
everyone's
trying
first
their
episode.
best. They're a new.
Yeah,
They're doing a new thing.
This
And
was
like,
Shut
It's-
down. They
it's so
shut down their
hard.
GoFundMe because they were like, guys, we don't need this much money. Instead, they pocketed close to $50,000 to hopefully bankroll future seasons.
right.
it
At least
seems like
two
you
some-
let
more.
them know.
one of the most ethical things you could do in that situation. Why did he single them out to be the people that he decided to punch whatever direction?
He started his video with this whole like behind the scenes rant. You don't know what these other TikTok creators are talking about, you guys. And I was at Convergence Con, and the Minmaxer peoples were like, we don't know who any of those people are. We don't know what that convention is. We have no idea what you're talking about. Why does it feel like you're singling us out? Like, if you want to roll those people, I guess go for it. But they're basically like, who the hell are we to you, man? Like,
what
do
did
you
they
have to
ever do to him?
Well, what do you have to do? What do we have to do with, I don't know. You know what it would be like? It would be like somebody coming up to me and yelling in my face because they're like, why do you have $100 Patreon tier? Why do people pay you $100? That's gross. And I'm like, who are you? Like, what do you, I don't know. Like, because some people want to support my content. Like, what is it to you? What do you care? You're exploiting them, man. I don't know. I think it's pretty clear. I don't know. Like the people, by the way, these people, their response video, so classy. So classy. You know, like they were basically like, hey, we don't really care about this guy. But if some of his concerns are your concerns, we do want to talk about it. We do want to do a better job, and we do want to kind of get better at this. And we do appreciate, any sort of constructive criticism. And, we do take that very seriously and blah, da, 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 da,
You know
da,
what?
da.
I will say, if MinMax wants to reach out to us for any tips or tricks or help, feel free.
No,
because-
avoid it, because I'm going to tell you to spend $45,000
Well,
that you
we'll
don't
tell you what to
Dude,
do, and then you'll learn.
remaining-
You'll learn what not to do, and then just do the opposite of what Derik says.
Right.
So come
Or
to
no,
us for
I'd say
advice.
rather than doing the opposite, just take what Derik says and lower it closer
Right,
to
right.
your actual budget. Right?
remaining-
His advice is good. It's just overspending.
Right. If this was Derik, it would say remaining budget for future seasons, negative $10,000.
Yeah, at least. And it's like, and we still haven't even filmed season 1. And we're like season 0, negative $10,000. We need to
Correct,
do another
correct.
GoFundMe to actually start the season because we overspent.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know what you got with my thing? You know what happened when I had a stream once where I made thousands of dollars, and you know what that did? It ended the campaign forever, and I never did it again.
Uh-huh.
So like, that's
There
what
you go.
that's what I did.
Right.
That's what I did when people gave
So
me
anyhow, they have $47,000. Especially
Yeah.
if they took out taxes, now they can just use that because they won't have to pay tax on that again. If
Yeah.
anything, what they really should do, but they probably can't, is spend as much money now for equipment
Getting things
before
set up for the future seasons so they get
So you-
less tax on it.
Correct, exactly. So that's all you have to do. Is just make
If
sure
they're confident enough
they're
in the future
confident.
seasons,
Exactly.
they can buy like a new set
Yeah.
if they need it, new character art for
Yeah.
the next season or whatever else
Yeah.
they need.
Yeah,
And then that way it won't get taxed.
exactly.
Well, the other thing was this
Well,
guy, this one shot was like kind of being like, and you're trolling these people, and like they came to get seasons, and you're only giving them one season. And the Minmaxers were like, wait a second, I don't understand. We literally saved money so that we could, have future seasons like locked in, and we have this all kind of priced in, and we're gonna do it, and we did it in such a way that we saved the money so that we could do that. Like part of I don't know what's worse, like the idea of like malevolent evil, like this person was like willfully making this troll video just to drive interaction and engagement, or just a complete dumbass. Like, I'm not sure which is better, right? Like
One of
like,
our chatters claims to be that his brother was a roommate of this person who made the video.
right, my brother's sister's cousin's
Yes,
roommate.
my brother's roommate.
What does that
And
make?
see,
What does that make
this
us?
person said, "Well, to
Absolutely
see what
nothing.
happens."
Absolutely nothing.
And now we will see why good. Now we will see why evil wins, because good is
Good
stupid.
is dumb.
It's dumb. Yes.
Baseball.
That's a
So-
movie I know.
Oh, you do Spaceballs.
Hey!
Yay.
There we go.
May the Schwartz be with you.
That
There
movie
we go.
was so ahead of the time. It was That movie
it
was
was-
literally 25 years ahead of the time. Like that movie, oh my God.
Especially the
So good.
Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money.
Which they're
But
making
But
now. It's coming out.
They're
Yes.
it's made. It's
It's
finished.
already been. I know.
yes,
It's,
I
it's
know.
already
That's
done.
the part that made
It's
it
already
ahead
in
of its
post.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Already in
I mean,
post.
granted, it could also have been Jews in space, but
Oh,
that was the other one that they previewed. We're Jews. We're Jews in
In
space.
space.
well, they did
protecting
come
the
out
world.
with History of the World Part 2, and it was
Right.
terrible.
Yeah, that one I did not see,
Oof.
but I
There
do
you
love
go.
history. I do love History of the World Part 1, but I
Oh,
did
I
not watch
love History of the World Part 1. Part 2
But
is not
it's good. It's good to be the king. But
Spaceballs, the flamethrower. Kids love it.
right,
That's the
Right.
best one, only because you can buy a flamethrower now.
right.
Wow.
The Elon Musk flamethrower. Oh god.
Yeah. Made a. We got the Spaceballs
the
the doll.
Schwartz
Made a
be
Schwartz
with
be
you.
with you.
Adorable. And he kisses him.
Yeah. Yes. Anyways, how many of you are assholes? I'm surrounded by assholes.
Oh god, that is such a good movie.
Put in Spaceballs the VHS. Wait, when is now? Now is
It
now.
is now.
What was then? Then was then. But now
Now
is
is
happening
now.
right now.
It's like can we go to that?
Wait,
no.
wait,
when?
when it
Wait.
You just
I can
missed it.
remember it's like, what is it? Soon.
But when will later be? Soon. That's right.
That was it. When later. It's like oh, they've gone plaid.
It's just such a it's such a fantastic movie.
Very classic film.
Very classic film. But
And then Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the
Pizza.
Hut.
yes, Pizza Hut is great. Do you find anything? We ain't find shit. That's one of my favorite parts too.
You know who
But,
that is? Who says that? He goes, we ain't
well,
find shit.
A black actor.
You know who it was? Tupac.
Oh, it was Tim Russ.
Yes.
That's funny. Love Tim Russ.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When will now be that? When will then be now? Soon. So, anyways, I don't. Again, this is why I don't watch. This is why I don't watch any of these people's channels. You know, it would just fill me with rage, and it's just terrible and it's horrible. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's one thing like, okay, you're an idiot and you're talking about GM advice that's terrible, and whatever. You know, you can give your terrible GM advice. That's fine. But this person is just like attacking these people for no reason and just shitting all over like their community that was very excited to support them. And he's doing it under this false guise of being this benevolent. Like, I'm doing it for your own good. You know, you guys have been exploited. It's like the most like vomit inducing white knighting I've ever seen. Like, hey, all of you who donated money to this, none of you are upset. But I'm going to be upset on your behalf because you're too dumb and gullible to realize that you're being taken advantage of. This person should have bought webcams from 2008 and filmed your
I'm just kind of just very sad that this is a thing.
No,
I'm not, like I said,
someone thought I said Tupac, not Tupac.
Right.
Tupac Shakur. He's playing.
No,
like
it was Tupac, the Vulcan from Voyager.
Tim Russ.
Right. So and again, none of this, by the way, would be even remotely bad if this person was just some nobody. But it's like you have 900,000 subscribers, man. And by the way, shout out.
Honestly, I think it would still not be great if it was some nobody
Well,
who was
no,
doing
because,
it, but
like,
no one would be
you know,
talking about it because
like
we
us.
wouldn't have ever
It's like
heard.
us doing it.
Mark,
You know, nobody.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, right. No, Mark. Assholes and nobodies shout into the void all the time. That's fine. Like, but and by the way, props to Minmaxed. Again, their response video very classy. But at the end, they said, "Let's talk about though, like the elephant in the room. How does this affect us?" And one of the persons basically said something about basically said to them, "Hey, you know, you reached out to us months ago asking to collaborate. And we said, sure. And then you never got back to us. And like you had our number, basically. Like if you had things or problems or advice or things that you wanted to talk about, you could have done that. But
So wait, this guy who went off on them asked to collaborate and they said, okay. And then he just never responded.
He ghosted them. Yes. And they basically said, you have a massive platform. In our space, in the Dungeon 2 space, having close to 1 million subs is a huge space, right? That is a huge number. That's like Jacob, Ginny D, right? Like that's like that, Jacob XP to level 3, right? It's like that level, like massive outsized influence. And your shorts are getting like 1 million plus views. So when somebody like you says something, it carries weight. So when someone like you makes one of the bad takes of all time, it has an outsized influence, and you need to be more mindful, considerate, and careful about how you're doing this. You know. Yeah.
On a total aside, I was looking up the most expensive logos of all time.
What is the most
Kojo,
expensive logo of all
The
time?
most expensive logo of all time is the Semantic logo. How much do you think it costs? Semantic, their new logo.
$21 million.
I'm going to say $100 million.
$1.28 billion.
What?
It did not cost $1 billion.
Yes, because they bought.
Was that like the whole marketing campaign?
No.
Even then, it wouldn't have cost $1 billion.
Because they bought the VeriSign tick. So VeriSign, the official VeriSign tick, which they own, cost $1 billion for them.
You mean like the little circle checkmark thing?
Yep, they own it. That costs, and that's their logo. So yes, it cost them a $1.28 billion. How about
that's a technicality.
How about BP? That logo, the new one with like the it looks like a sunflower. That logo,
400 million.
Close.
Oh, I see. What I'm reading a thing that debunks that the Semantic logo cost 1.28 million because it was an entire buyout. Getting the check for the logo was
part of it.
A notable reason that they did the buyout. But the 1.28 billion was the whole buyout.
But it was their logo. They bought it for that and the logo, and because
I think the important part is Waters, which said money is fake and capitalism is a festival of lies. Correct. That is absolutely correct.
Well, the BP logo, 210 million. The Accenture logo, which actually I think is a terrible logo, $100 million. How about BBC? The BBC logo, you know, where it just says BBC in those black boxes, and you've seen that everywhere, all over the place, where they redid it in 1997. 1.8.
You know what it tells?
You know what it tells me?
It tells me that corporations have too much money. We should be taxing them more money. Huzzah for the middle class. Let the proletariat rise up and destroy their capitalistic overlords.
Yeah.
Kojo, we spent like the first 90 minutes talking about this. Basically I laid it all out. It's not just the OGL scandal. It's that the YouTubers, there's no money in YouTube, and there was never really money in YouTube, but now there's definitely not money in YouTube. And so, unless you're getting
a million views,
right? If you're Jacob from XP to level 3, like you can make a living off of YouTube.
Yeah. Like there, you can either make these are the tiers. I'm going to give you the official tiers. Here's the tiers. You either make no money on YouTube, you make almost no money on YouTube, or you make millions.
Right.
and that's it. That is the 3 tiers.
There's clearly a tier that Derik was putting out where it's like there's no money, there's almost no money, there's probably enough to live
in the
on.
Almost no money tier. Almost no money.
But the probably enough to live on tier, by the way,
that is
requires you to be as popular as some of the top dungeon tubers, and the millions. Right. That is not anything that a dungeon tuber can make.
I'm talking about all YouTube.
But the thing is like you have to realize that like those things are kind of like part and parcel, okay? Because for example, and I'm not like trying to throw her under the bus here, but like if we go and look at say Ginny D, okay, Ginny D, who according to YouTube is a singer, or according to Google, I should say, is a singer. She has 910K followers, subscribers, right? So 913,000. So close to this person, right? Okay, fantastic. She does a video, she gets 300,000, 400,000 views, right? Fantastic, all that stuff. So she could legitimately make money, right, off of her, her.
Even then,
YouTube,
she doesn't get almost any of it from YouTube.
However, when you're that big, you also have something like a Patreon. And Ginny D has 2,000 paying members from her Patreon. So her patrons might be giving her $20 or $30 or $40,000 a month. So like there's this kind of like exponential growth, because when you become popular enough on YouTube, you also become popular enough with your Patreon. You become popular enough with your projects or whatever like that. And what I'm trying to say is that for a lot of these YouTubers is they realized those other projects are a better ROI than their YouTube videos, which quite frankly, I imagine, and I've been told, I believe actually I think Mark was the one who told me this story once, which was when I think it was like when Chris Perkins or something, when like he joined Darrington Press, and I like made a video and I published it like 3 minutes later, not a live stream, a video. And Mark said like somebody that he knows or somebody that he whatever in like one of their creator chats was like, oh, Derik posted a video about that already. How did he do that? And Mark was like, because he doesn't write a script and he just like hit record on OBS and then published it or something like that. And it's because in fact,
someone else had already answered that question before I got there. But yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
That was accurate. And then people are like, oh, that explains it, because they assumed that somehow you scripted and filmed the video that quickly, which
correct, which is impossible. So I get that for a lot of these people, making a 15-minute video is like a 40 or 60 hour endeavor, because to make a 15-minute video, first they actually have to think of something to say, and since they barely play role-playing games, they don't have a lot to say, and then they have to figure out what they're going to say.
Even if they play a lot of role-playing games and have a lot to say, is they still need to take a long time to come up with exactly what they're going to say in that 15 minutes. Like,
wait, Derik, they do this thing that we've never heard of. It's called writing a script.
Yeah, right. Writing a script.
Derik, I guarantee you,
terrible.
Derik, you have so much to say that you can easily talk for 5 hours. So you are someone who plays role-playing games. You're not someone who has nothing to say and who doesn't play them. I guarantee you it would take you a very long time comparatively to make a script for 15 minutes, not because you need to say more, but because you need to say less so that it will get into 15 minutes. And that's true for some of those other people as well.
Right. To be clear, there's a funnel, right? There's certainly a lot. There's a lot of people who don't have anything to say because they don't know anything to say, right? So they've got to scrape through other smaller YouTube channels that no one actually watches, steal their content, and then repurpose it for their channel, right? That's step one. So step two is then, if you do have something to say because you're actually playing role-playing games, now you're like, gee, I don't like think about role-playing games in that way. I need to like contextualize my thoughts and actually come up with something. So you might play role-playing games, but you're still not really like thinking about them 24/7. Then you have to write a script, which is admittedly a difficult task to do. Now, whereas mine is about winnowing, I think other people's like, how do I come up with enough to say? And then four, you're also
we've heard
thinking
that one
about
so many times. Like, how do you guys come up with enough to say? It's like, you do not know us very well, do you?
Correct.
It takes me a while to write a script because I have to condense down to make it fit.
Right. Correct. I personally think condensing down is harder than
it's way harder. Well, for me, maybe I have a lot to say.
Well, no, that's what I'm trying to say. We have a lot to say, and be clear, there are reasons for that beyond just these people are all like fakes and hackers.
They're not. They're
well, no. But like Professor Dungeon Master is a great example. He obviously plays a lot of games. But if he back when he was a little bit more on his 5e path, I'm sure. If we talked to him, he would say at a certain point, yeah, I'm kind of running out of stuff to say about 5e. If I was talking about anything else, I'd be able to happily talk about it. I could talk for hours about painting, but nobody wants to watch that video, so I don't make that video, right? So like for me, yeah, it might be tough. I might run out of things to say if I had to talk about the same thing over and 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 over again. But I talk about a variety of different topics and games, and that keeps it fresh for me. Anyway, long story short, it might take them a very long time to make this short 15-minute video, and then they don't really they don't make any money about it, right? They've got the fans that they've got an audience that they've got. Once you're making 1.8 million on every Kickstarter, what do you need an audience for? And yeah, it feels a little bit like you're being basically it's like you feel like you're maybe being used and abused, but to a certain extent that creator has had to make a business decision, and it may not be awesome, but it is unfortunately the way that the world works, and I understand it. I mean, I get it. It sucks, but I get it.
By the way, the other thing is there's nothing more depressing than you going out, spending 20, 40, 50, 100 hours and making a video. You throw it out there, and because it only gets views in really the first couple of days, and that's it. And then it gets like 5,000 views. And you're like, really? That's it. Mm-hmm. And 5,000 is actually
you think good. There's nothing more depressing than about that not getting 5,000 views.
Actually, I know something more depressing. Watching Arcade Mark.
Oh! Yeah. Let me show you all my videos that have way less than 1,000 views.
I know exactly. You know what I meant.
No, but again, like I am, as far as I can tell, I am invincible, right? I am invincible. I am the Iron Man of YouTube, okay? For like 3 reasons. One, because I literally do not even look at how my videos perform. It doesn't. It's not even something I care about.
I haven't looked at it in years. I don't look.
It doesn't matter to me if it literally doesn't even. It's not even something I think about or something I register about. I don't think about my thumbnail. I don't think about my thumbnail game. I don't think about my title game. I don't think about any of that. So like all of that stress that
You're
comes from
living the
YouTubers,
dream, Derik.
I completely ignore it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, one of the number one complaints that I get from my patrons. These are the people who pay me money, by the way.
People actually like
Derik,
you.
Derik, you posted way too much. I cannot possibly keep up with everything that you're posting. Please, for the love of God, you just went another 6. I woke up and there was another 6-hour stream last night in the middle of the night.
A problem in the last month. I'll tell you that much.
Well,
they gave him time. That was time for everyone to catch up.
Right. I did a 2-hour stream the other day, and people are in the comments like, "Is Derik okay? Like, is everything all right? Like, did his house burn down again? Like, what's happening?"
Wait, it was only 2 hours.
Yeah. So
did he have somewhere to go? Did he have something to do? Yeah, what's going on?
Right. Blink twice. Okay. So number one, I don't care about the algorithm game, the thumbnail game, whatever. Number two, if anything, my content, my people are like, please make less, and I have so much to say. It's like sometimes I'm bored, I'm at home, and I'm like, I want to just go live. I just want to go live so I can chat with my community and we can hype up about role-playing games because it's 2 a.m. and all of my like real, like rational, like, you know, sensible friends who live in my same time zone are all asleep. And I'm like, I want to talk to people.
I'm awake.
And usually you do join those and it's crazy.
And so, not the sensible friend in the same time.
And if you are a KOLC fan,
isn't Stephen in an even less sensible time zone than you?
Yeah, no, he's in my time zone, right? Jess is at least one west.
Yeah, we're in the same time zone. We're in the same time zone.
But the third,
for some reason, I thought that Derik was in central.
No, we're all in the same time zone.
If somebody leaves me a hateful comment, I heart it, I pin it to the top of my YouTube video, which means it's the first thing that it's the only thing that you see.
Hateful comments for Derik.
Right. So like when somebody leaves me a troll hater comment, I heart it and I pin it to the top.
Wait, I got a new idea.
Wait. I'm being completely honest with you. I've seen a lot of YouTubers, okay, especially gamer YouTubers. You know, we're RPGers, right? We wear our heart on our sleeves, maybe a little bit. Like, they are actually hurt when people like call them out or say something bad about them. I can be completely truthfully honest with you guys. In fact, I literally sometimes I've had to stop my community sometimes. Like my community will start to like white knight me and start going into the comments to like defend me. And I'll be like, guys, please do not. Like, number one, don't feed the trolls. But number two, I really don't care. I sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit cheeky, I'll say, thanks for the view. Remember to like. And then like that's, like that's about the most I'll do. But like, and if I'm feeling really particularly cheeky, I'll say, that seems like a really excellent viewpoint. Would you like to come on my next live stream and discuss it with me?
Anyhow,
and you know what? I never hear from them again.
We got a couple things. First, we'll call that the pin of shame, by the way. Tech Monkeys, like that's the pin of shame. Next, we have, it's 12:30 a.m. Time to talk about Wilderfeast, which is 100% true. But my favorite thing is, of all these that people were saying, is that a 2-hour video, we can call those Derik shorts. So that's what there's YouTube shorts, which are like, 2 minutes or less, or 30 or something like that or less. For us, whenever I see
that's a Derik short.
You should have a category, Derik. You should call it shorts.
And just and any videos that are less than 2 hours or less.
Just put them in the shorts. People will be so confused. They're like, why is a 2-hour video labeled a short? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, this is the last thing I say before I have to leave. I did a Daggerheart live stream where going into it, I set up my thing so that I would talk about each topic for 15 minutes. Now, it wasn't scripted. I just literally had a counter. There was literally a timer on my live stream overlay. So I was like, I have only 15 minutes to wrap this up. And we tried to make each point a very discrete thing so that when the stream was over, I could have the video, easily edit it, and create 15-minute smaller videos. So instead of being like, I get it, clicking on a 3.5-hour video about GMing advice, tough. But hey, here's a video. It's only 12, 15 minutes long about this one topic for Daggerheart GMing. Take a look. and then I'll do another video, and I'll do another video, and I'll do another video. Those videos, those short 15-minute videos, got less views than the 3-4 hour megalithic massive live stream VOD. So, you know, I don't even have the incentive to do that.
Yeah. Well, it feels like you're missing
It doesn't
out.
make
It's like,
doesn't
you
make
know
me
what?
any money.
It's like having the condensed versions. It's like the abridged version of Derik. No one wants the abridged version of Derik. We want the uncut version of Derik. We want Derik.
Derek Melinda abridged. Screw the shorts. I want money.
I you know,
Tip me.
when I'm
Tip me.
when
A
I'm
tip
working
goal.
when I'm
Did anyone
working
else
the-
watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged?
What?
so this is a unique thing for like Mark
Okay,
and I.
fair enough.
No, I don't.
When I watch when I see Mark and I like when you think about like the traditional like the people at the gaming convention, right? The annoying nerdy customer comes over, and the person working the booth, the designer, the person working the booth is just like, you know, rolling their eyes and like, okay, can we get on with it? Are you going to buy something? Can you leave me alone already? You know, and the customer won't leave them alone. When I watch Mark and I at the booth, it's like the customer's like, I got to get going, guys. Like, what? Like, you're still talking to me about, you know, this thing. Like, I lost. Like, Mark and I are like more excited. We're like, let's talk about it. I'll sit here for an hour and talk to you about this thing, if you want, if you let me. Like, I'm always just like talking people's, you know, ear off.
Derek
And then after an
especially.
hour,
Derek
they leave.
especially.
then they leave and they say, I've got somewhere important to go, and then they excuse themselves and go buy Dispel dice. You know, so like that's
It's like, hey, you know what? That $40 book that lets you play 100 different types of dragons, that seems a little too much. Let me just go next door and spend $250 on a pair of dice that I will use once, maybe, probably not. Just put them on my shelf and look at them.
You know, I'm convinced that one company made more money at that one PAX just selling the glass dice chains than we've made at all of our conventions combined.
Wait, I got the best one. I almost said this to you. I forgot though. We didn't go to PAX East this year because we just couldn't.
Yeah.
Our Diana of the Rose, our good friend, was posting pictures of her buying tea. And I was like,
man, we were near the tea the last
and I was like,
time.
of
We were
course.
right next to the tea.
I'm like, it's like, of course they're buying tea. Of course they're buying. Oh, we're in the wrong business, baby. We should be.
We sure are.
We gotta be. We
We
should selling
sure
tea and dice. That's what we should be selling. It's
Well,
like,
we had a whole episode about people buying dice that was with me and Jeff.
Well,
that's right. I
we
wasn't
already
even there.
joked. We already joked, right? If Airbirds can go from selling ecologically responsible shoe wear to being an AI company, right? Roll for Combat already has it. Just you don't even have to do a name change. You just start selling dice.
How about
set
AI
up.
dice? We'll start selling AI
No.
dice.
Right?
Steven,
yeah,
no.
no.
Oh,
Yeah,
AI
hey,
dice for
oh,
Smack.
wait, start making some money. Need some money. AI dice.
No,
AI dice.
Steven.
Right.
I'm serious that if you want to do dice from Derek's suggestion, that would be fine. We can add that on to what we're doing, but no AI dice. Steven.
I do like
Eldamon
some of
when?
I do like some of my Deathbringer exclusive ideas though. If you remember those, we were talking about those. I think at GaryCon, Stephen.
I don't remember some of those. We have to talk
we
about
got-
those again.
We have to talk.
Deathbringer
Yeah,
dice.
we are talking. Well, Deathbringer. Talk about quitting your day job, boy. And that's going to. I think it's going to do pretty well. To be fair,
think
though,
so.
that art is coming in. Woo! Some of that art, man, is coming out good. I've learned a lot from Derik. Derik has taught me the art of vibes, and I am learning.
Right. To be fair, I don't know that. It's just a lesson I've had to painfully like be acknowledged and bow to.
Yes.
But
We
yes,
all have.
yes.
We all have. Especially after
yeah, we all
seeing
have.
how well at GaryCon, seeing the insanity of the Pirate Borg booth has made me a convert. So, and seeing the insanity of the booth that sells tea, the 10 by 20 booth. It's not a 10 by 10, 10 by 20 booth, which
Right.
very expensive.
So here's what.
That's a
Okay,
very
ready?
expensive booth.
Ready? Mark could throw this together in a weekend. Okay, ready? You make a book. Okay, and I see Waters is saying this here. It says take its inspiration from the Tea Dragons game. No, you make a book, right? And it's all tea dragons, right? So you have an oolong dragon, and you have like a chamomile dragon, and you have a Earl Grey dragon, and then you sell the book But with the book, it comes in a box, but it also comes with like a tin of each of the teas.
Yeah, and if you are drinking the tea, just like the Wendy's game, if you're drinking the tea that matches your dragon, you gain special benefits.
You have
for your dragon. Whereas if you're drinking one of the cross teas that is still from that box, but it's from a different dragon, you can actually like mix it together and make like a hybrid build with your dragon and the features of the other
that
dragon.
could be the next stretch goal.
By the way, for future reference, if you go back about 15 seconds, 20 seconds in the VOD, and you watch carefully Stephen Glicker's face, you can see his soul leave his body just a little bit. Like you can actually see the moment where the words that I'm saying entered his ears, hit his cerebellum, kind of had immediate derision, but then also hit like the higher functioning part of his brain where he realized I was right. And then he reached the part of the brain where he realized that would make more money than everything else. And then it reached the other part of his brain where like nostalgia, like shame and revulsion kicked in. You can see it all very subtly. He hides it well, but if you look closely, the soul, the eyes.
So what we should do is we should clip that section and play it in slow motion, just with Steven's face, so you can just watch him go through the 5 stages of grief.
You really don't want to...
It's kind of the 5 stages of grief, right? It starts with denial. No, wait a minute. No, and then it's like, wait a minute. And it comes to acceptance at the end.
There you go.
I just don't, you really don't want us to create quality books anymore. At this point, the next Kickstarter, I swear to God, will be a pamphlet. I swear to God, it's just going to be, and it's not even going to be like.
What about a zine, Steven?
No, zine's too big. So we would do, it would be like a pamphlet, a trifold pamphlet. And being a roll for combat thing, normally I would do 100 of these, but no, one pamphlet. That's it. Just one pamphlet.
Wait, do it on Fruitful Void.
Yeah, there we go.
And then you don't need cover art because you can imagine the cover art.
To be fair,
do whatever cover art you
think
want.
about how much your imagination is being boxed in by having art.
So, by the way, there are some comic book companies out there. This is actually a well-known thing, a Kickstarter. They will do a Kickstarter and their tier is literally $1. That's it. It's a $1 tier for something like that. They make all their money on the add-ons. And that's it. And they make tons of money. So
Waters Leach says crochet patterns for Eldamon Amigurumi.
All right. I'm late. I gotta go.
All right. So enjoy your racquetball game.
Yeah,
he's gonna go. Yeah, I know Derek's gonna be. If you stream tonight, I want to see you stream tonight, Derek, because you're so pumped. It's like between him getting all worked up on the stream, then he's gonna go play racquetball. He's like, he's gonna be killing that. It's like thinking of one quester. It's like
we are going to Buffalo Wild Wings after racquetball for our post game.
I love Buffalo Wild Wings.
Me too. And that will put me in a better mood. So
Derek's gotta go.
That'll get him his energy back, and then he's going to scream.
If you want to battle the zoo, you have to roll for combat.
See
ya. Bye, everybody.
Eldamon, the hit D&D and Pathfinder supplement that brings Pokemon-style gameplay to your tabletop games, is finally getting a massive update. Roll for Combat, the company that brought you Battlezoo Eldamon as well as countless other supplements for your tabletop role-playing games, has just announced Eldamon Legends, which is a fantastic Kickstarter that you can back now to bring all sorts of new Eldamon, elemental powers, and items to your worlds. If you're new here, Eldamon are elemental spirits that take on the form of creatures, which you and your party can make alliances and travel the world with. You can train them, evolve them into more powerful forms, and pit them in battles against other Eldamon. Or you yourself could become an elemental avatar and wield powers of darkness, or music, or fire. And the brand new Eldamon Legends Kickstarter brings you a bunch of new items that you and your party can equip, over 136 more Eldamon to populate your world with, and brand new legendary Eldamon to track down. Plus, the Kickstarter has all sorts of goodies available for its backers, including special dice, deluxe covers for the original Eldamon series, and more. So be sure to check out the Eldamon Legends Kickstarter today to begin harnessing the elements for yourself.